Chapter 1190. It's really him. Lu Chengfeng's eyes widened as he stared at Lin Rui with disbelief. With regards to Lin Rui, he was now very clear of how strong he was. And the reason why he didn't sense any spiritual qi in Qin Wentian's body was probably because Qin Wentian was too strong. As for him, too weak. Especially when he thought of old Qiong's strength. Even with that level of strength, he still couldn't see through Lin Rui's cultivation level. This was the most shocking thing to him. With regards to such a gaze of shock, Lin Rui felt incomparably pleased in his heart. He loved such gazes. However, Lin Xian didn't give her father any face. Staring at the calm Lu Chengfeng, she waved her hands and laughed. Brother Chengfeng, your expectations are a little too high. Although my father is strong, he doesn't have the slightest bit of advantage when compared to your 10,000 treasure sect. After speaking, the little lass continued, Brother Chengfeng, look at how strong your 10,000 treasure sect is. I'm sure your disciples are 1 in 10,000. As Lin Xian spoke, she didn't notice that Lin Rui's countenance had already turned black. Not only that, the more she spoke, the more excited she became. Our 9 Heavens merchant shop lacks many things, but we don't lack medicinal pills, talismans, weapons. Even if your sect needs to set up a protective formation, you can always come to our 9 Heavens merchant shop. This Aunt Xian also we are already so familiar with each other, how can I cheat you? How about this, 20% discount? 20% discount. What do you think? Without giving Lu Chengfeng a chance to speak, she took out a piece of paper. Come, Brother Chengfeng, give me your hand. Lu Chengfeng was speechless. Although he felt extremely helpless, he still did as he was told and passed his hand over to Lin Xian. He cast a puzzled gaze at her, as though he was a curious baby. Screech! A bright light flashed as he felt a sharp pain in his finger. A warm current gushed out and Lu Chengfeng regained his senses only to see a dagger in Lin Xian's other hand. There was a cut on his finger as fresh blood flowed out. Pa! Lin Xian exerted force and directly pressed Lu Chengfeng's finger onto the paper on the table. Miss Xian, what are you doing? Lu Chengfeng didn't understand why Lin Xian would do this. Lowering his head, he saw what was written on the paper and he froze on the spot like a wooden sculpture. F***ck a friend. This mother***. On top of it, 3 big words were written very clearly, contract. It was written that in the future, the 1000 Bao sect would have to buy from the 9 Heavens shop. Otherwise, all the shops in the Azure Xian Empire would be used as compensation. And the eye-catching thing that was covered in blood was his name. What made him dumbfounded was that the way he wrote his name was his own. F***ck. I was wondering why this little lass wanted me to write my name on a few pieces of paper. So it turns out that she was waiting for me here. Thinking back to Lin Xian's earlier expression, Lu Chengfeng's heart crumbled. Their actions, plus the contract on the table, Lin Rui saw it clearly. At this moment, he really wanted to give his daughter a thumbs up. However, although Lu Chengfeng wasn't a suitable candidate for a son-in-law in his heart, at the very least, he didn't hate Lu Chengfeng as a friend. Using this method now was truly a little shameless. As he thought of this, he stretched out his hand and pulled Lin Xian's hand away from Lu Chengfeng. He had an apologetic look on his face as he spoke. Sir Lu, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that my daughter would do this. In order to make Lu Chengfeng believe him, he tore up the paper on the table. Sir Lu, please take this as a joke. Please don't take it seriously. Father. Lin Xian was unwilling. She worked so hard to do all this. Wasn't it because she wanted to earn some cultivation resources for the sect? But now, her father tore up the paper so easily and even apologized to Lu Chengfeng. This caused her to be extremely unhappy, extremely unhappy, extremely unhappy. Enough. Don't say any more. As he spoke, he reached out with his hand towards the pill cabinet. A powerful suction force appeared, and a pill bottle containing 10 breakthrough emperor pills flew into Linley's hand. How about this? This bottle of pills isn't worth much. Take it as an apology for my daughter's rudeness. As he spoke, he passed the bottle to Lu Chengfeng. Staring at the pills in front of him, he didn't know whether to accept them or not. In addition, from the start to the end, he didn't seem to have said anything. Humph, loathsome brat, quickly take it. Lin Xian at the side spoke. Maybe, she knew that her actions earlier were a little inappropriate. This bottle of pills, even the Alchemy Guild doesn't sell them. In that case, your sect should be able to gain another immortal emperor. Indeed, Lu Chengfeng's heart was moved. Although immortal emperors weren't considered anything in the sacred world, in a sect, they were extremely precious. This was especially so for disciples with great potential. Why are you acting like a woman? Lin Xian couldn't stand Lu Chengfeng's hesitation. She took a step forward, dodging the bottle and stuffed it into Lu Chengfeng's hands. If not, don't come to my Nine Heavens merchant shop in the future. After speaking, she returned to her original position and didn't say anything else. Staring at the pills in his hands, Lu Chengfeng wanted to say something. But sadly, before he could say anything, Lin Rei spoke first. All right, let's stop here for today. I just came to the imperial capital. I haven't had the chance to explore the city yet. After speaking, he turned his head and looked at his daughter. A gentle smile appeared on his face as he spoke. Little lass, let's go take a walk. Maybe after some time, your father will be busy and won't be able to take care of you. You are going out again? Lin Xian who was originally excited when she heard that they were going out for a walk, had her expression collapse when she heard the latter half of Lu Chengfeng's words. Once, in order to be able to follow beside her father, she didn't hesitate to cultivate the dark ice heavenly art so that she could have sufficient strength. Now, in front of her father, she wanted to say that she was very strong and was able to follow him. What a pity. Little lass, you are still so young, but why do you always act as though you have a deep grudge against me? I only said that I'm going out. I didn't say that I won't bring you along. Look at yourself. Understanding Xian Er's thoughts, Lin Rei spoke, calming her down. Really? Lu Chengfeng shook his head helplessly. Really? Is there a need for your father to lie to you? After speaking, he turned and looked at Lu Chengfeng with an apologetic expression. Look, what a coincidence. If Sir Lu doesn't have anything else, we will take our leave first. I knew Sir Lu would be considerate. Just as Lu Chengfeng's words left his mouth, Lin Rei mercilessly interrupted him. He smiled and nodded. All right, since Sir Lu is so willing to fulfill my wish, I will bring my daughter away first. After speaking, without waiting for Lu Chengfeng to reply, the two of them were already at the entrance and one of their feet had already stepped out. Chapter 1191. Actually, what I want to say is that I want to be with you. Lu Chengfeng mumbled in his heart as he watched the two leaving. Xianer, remember this. Remember, when you find a husband in the future, you must not find someone so weak. I'm Lin Rei's daughter. My future husband must be someone who can withstand my attacks. Someone like Lu Chengfeng can't even defeat a subordinate of mine. He's too weak. Remember. Lu Chengfeng's face fell as he smiled bitterly in his heart. Although Lin Rei and Lu Chengfeng had walked far away, there were no ordinary people present. Moreover, he was an early hierarch cultivator. This distance was nothing to him. Hearing that, Lu Chengfeng really wanted to buy a piece of tofu and knock himself to death. When had he ever been so humiliated? Glancing at Hong Yuan, who was busy at the front desk, Lu Chengfeng didn't stay any longer. The previous scene was deeply engraved in his mind. He made up his mind that he must work harder in the future. He didn't want to be defeated every time as the young master. If Lin Rei knew what Lu Chengfeng was thinking, he would definitely burst out laughing. He knew his character very well. The reason why Hong Yun could kill Lu Chengfeng in one move was because of his sure kill move. If Hong Yun didn't have the chance to kill Lu Chengfeng in one move, he might still be able to win if the battle went on for a long time, but it wouldn't be so easy. On the street, Lin Xian blushed as she thought about what her father said. She felt indescribably good. As for the question of a husband, she had never thought about it. Since she was born, she had always been focused on cultivation. Regarding this aspect, she really did not understand. The only obsession in her heart was to be able to help her father. The Shenyuan imperial capital was huge. The forces in it were complicated. There were many clans and experts everywhere. Those who could have a place in the imperial capital were basically cultivator clans. The Balance Tavern was the largest tavern in the entire imperial capital. The faction behind it was extremely powerful, and it was said that even the imperial family had to give it some face. Even the people from Wanbao Sect didn't dare to be impudent in Tianping Inn. As for Lin Rei, although he had only been in the imperial capital for less than a month, he had still heard of this power. An inn that could make a top sect give face and not dare to be presumptuous. He really wanted to see how this inn was like. Lin Rei and Lin Yiqian were on the bustling street. Looking at all kinds of people around them, they were very tired of this mode. This was especially so for Lin Xian. She had always been in a state of cultivation, and towards places where there were so many people, she felt a sense of resistance. Father, what are we doing this time? I didn't hear that we were coming out today. Don't tell me you're hiding from Lu Changfeng. Turning his head, his eyes fell on Lin Rei as he asked, hide from him? A look of contempt flashed across his face as he sneered. He doesn't have the qualifications to make me hide. This time around, the main reason we came out is to find out about some things. Also, as he spoke, he pointed to a 4-story building in front as he continued. I heard that there's an inn in the imperial capital that all the major powers have to give face to. Even the imperial family doesn't dare to be impudent and create trouble there. Hence, maybe there's an answer that father wants to know inside. Also, I want to see what's so special about this inn. Is that so? Upon hearing this, Lin Xian instantly lost interest. At their level, they didn't need to eat anymore. The reason why there was an inn was only to satisfy their appetite. Why? You don't want to go? Seeing his daughter losing interest, Lin Rei started as he asked. No, I just feel that there's no meaning to it. Of course, since father wants to go, let's go. In any case, there's nothing to do in the store. Okay. The two of them reached a consensus and soon arrived at the entrance of Tianping Inn. Why is it so quiet inside an inn? The moment they arrived, Lin Rei discovered something strange. Indeed, how could an inn be so quiet? It couldn't be said that even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. At the very least, at the entrance, there were no sounds of clamor. It's truly strange. Her gaze landed on the inn. There were many people inside, but there wasn't any clamor. This caused her to feel curious. Let's go. The two of them stepped through the entrance of the inn. All of a sudden, a waiter noticed Lin Rei and Lin Xian. He instantly rushed over and bowed in an extremely polite manner. Sir and madam, are you looking for a meal or a place to stay? Lin Rei, Lin Xian. Staring at the waiter, Lin Rei and Lin Xian were completely dumbfounded. This was especially so for Lin Rei. He was very familiar with this line. Extremely familiar. Back then on Planet Aquamarine, the waiter in the TV series would say the same thing. But now that they were here, it was actually. He instantly regained his senses and waved his hands. Let's eat. Can you prepare a private room for us? Private room? Staring at Lin Rei, the waiter revealed an expression as though he wanted to say something but hesitated. This caused Lin Rei's interest to be piqued. Why? Are there no more private rooms? Releasing his spiritual sense, the entire Tianping Inn appeared in Lin Rei's mind. There weren't many private rooms on the upper 3 floors, but there were still some available. Hence, Lin Rei didn't frown as he stared at the waiter. He wasn't a patient person, and he felt somewhat unhappy with the waiter's hesitation. This customer, I'm really sorry. Only those from major powers can enter the upper 3 floors. Ordinary people can only dine on the 1st floor. This is the rule of our Tianping Inn. It's not that this little one is making things difficult for the two of you, but it's really, major powers? Before the waiter could finish his words, Lin Rei laughed. One needed to be a major power to book a private room for a meal. After cultivating for so many years, this was the first time he had heard of such a thing. Even when he was in the divine world, he was powerful enough to dominate the 9 heavens commerce. Customer, you see. Looking at Lin Rei, the waiter said awkwardly. Hearing the waiter's words, Lin Rei turned his head and looked around. His expression froze for a moment before he stopped arguing. In any case, they were here to eat, so there was no need to make things difficult. He could already feel Xian Er's impatience, so he didn't continue arguing. Nodding, he said, all right. Since that's the case, then arrange a window seat for us. Father, she looked at her father in shock. She clearly didn't expect her father, who was as proud as the sky and couldn't tolerate sand in his eyes, to be so patient. Although she didn't follow him out, She had heard many things about her father from her mother. But now it seemed like those things weren't true. It's fine. Let's go. Saying so, he waved his hand, indicating for her not to worry, and followed the waiter to their seats. Chapter 1192. Lin Rei did not recognize a single person in the surroundings. However, from the way they were dressed, it was obvious that they were from wealthy families. Moreover, there was another unifying factor. All the people here were cultivators. None of them were ordinary people. Even the waiter leading the way was a cultivator. This made Lin Rei even more familiar with the Balanced Tavern. He had a feeling that he would be able to obtain something very interesting here. He had something he wanted to know. Brother Wu, you have to help us this time. Whether or not our Long clan can survive this crisis will depend on the help of your formation technique. Two people came down from the staircase between the second floor and the first floor. One of them was the person who bought Lin Rei's formation disc, the elder of the Formation Association, Wu Ding. As for the other person, he was one of the second-rate clans in the Shenyuan imperial capital, the Long clan's patriarch, Long Outyen. Speaking of Long Outyen, he looked very young. Of course, he was actually the third young master of the Long clan. However, the previous patriarch of the Long clan was killed. Before his death, Long Outyen was appointed as the next patriarch of the Long clan. Because of this, the elders of the Long clan did not agree to it no matter what. Of course, there were also those who chose to remain neutral. In the end, some elders did not want to be associated with the Long clan and went out on their own. Because of this, the Long clan's strength and influence plummeted. Some small clans, third-rate clans, and even low-rate clans dared to clamor at them. Not long ago, a third-rate clan surnamed Li came to clamor and demanded that Long Outyen hand over 80% of the Long clan's assets and properties. The Long clan was in a precarious situation and did not have the time to care. It was precisely because of this that such a scene had occurred. The two of them came down from the second floor. Long Outyen could not help but ask Wu Ding for help. In response, his voice was slightly louder. Everyone eating on the first floor focused their attention on the two of them. Among them was Lin Rei. However, when he saw Wu Ding coming down from the second floor, his originally calm expression instantly froze. Damn it! Even Wu Ding can go up to the second floor. I can only stay on the first floor. It seems that being famous makes a difference. Smiling bitterly in his heart, Zhang Xian shook his head and ignored it. His face returned to normal, and he continued forward. As for Wu Ding, he seemed to have sensed the gazes of the crowd. He turned his head and swept his gaze over the crowd. However, the instant his gaze landed on Lin Rei and Lin Xian, he was completely stunned. As for Lin Li, he probably would never forget him in his entire life. How could he forget someone who could use a saint-level array disc as a tea tray and casually place it around? However, when he saw the direction that Lin Rei and his companion were heading in, he revealed a puzzled expression. He understood the rules of the Balanced Scale Tavern. However, was Lin Rei a freaking ordinary person? He could even go up to the fourth floor. Although his strength was still unknown, just the good stuff in that shop alone was enough to compete with a first-rate power. Brother Wu? Brother Wu. Long Outyen also noticed Wu Ding's reaction. He called out to him twice, but there was still no response. Then, Wu Ding's gaze fell on Lin Rei. Long Outyen looked at the two of them suspiciously. How is this possible? Why are the two of them on the first floor? Staring at Lin Rei and Lin Xian, he didn't believe that this was a coincidence. He also didn't believe that Lin Rei, who didn't care about fame and fortune, would be on the first floor. As he thought of this, he returned to his senses. He glanced at Long Outyen and thought of the matter that Long Outyen had asked him to do. Honestly speaking, the guild might not be able to do it. After all, the guild had a clear rule that members of aristocratic clans weren't allowed to have close contact with each other. Initially, he was still thinking of how to reject. But now that he saw Lin Rei, maybe he would be able to help. Clan leader Long, if you don't have time later, why don't you go down with me to meet someone? If that person agrees to help, maybe the matter of your Long clan will be resolved. Who knows, you might even be able to rise to a higher level. What? Wu Ding's words came too suddenly, causing Long Outyen to be dumbfounded for a moment. Let's go. He didn't say it a second time. Taking a single step forward, he headed towards Lin Li's location. At this moment, Lin Rei and Xian were already seated by the window. The scenery wasn't bad, and there were many people walking to and fro outside. The atmosphere was extremely lively. "Two guests, what would you like to eat?" After speaking, the waiter took out a piece of paper and placed it in front of Lin Rei and Xian. As for the menu in front of him, Lin Rei didn't even glance at it. He directly spoke. "Bring out all the specialties here." "Oh right, bring out a few jugs of your best wine as well." "Father, don't drink any more." Lin Xian spoke. "It's fine, I'll just drink a little." After speaking, he smiled and ended the conversation. However, the waiter didn't leave. He had a difficult expression on his face, as though Lin Rei's words were inappropriate. "Why? No dishes? No wine? Or to be honest, are you afraid that I won't be able to afford it?" The waiter only had a few thoughts. Either he didn't have the ingredients, or he despised the guests for being poor. And from Lin Rei's point of view, the waiter seemed to be thinking of the latter. As expected, the moment Lin Rei spoke, the waiter replied, "Guest, it's like this. Maybe this is the first time you've come to our inn. Here, a single special dish costs 10 high-grade Saint crystals. But you said that all the specialties would be served. The price of over 30 dishes isn't cheap at all. In addition, the wine isn't cheap either. A jug of our most expensive wine costs 100 high-grade Saint crystals. What do you think?" Bang! A low rumbling sound rang out. At the instant the sound rang out, everyone in the inn turned their attention over. "What do you mean by this? Are you despising us for being poor?" Lin Rei didn't speak, but Lin Xian couldn't bear it any longer. She slammed the table and glared at the waiter. This. What about me? What's so great about it? Isn't this just a place to eat? Why are there so many rules? Do you really think you're so awesome that you don't have to pay taxes? What the hell? Isn't it just money?" As she spoke, she waved her hand and numerous sparkling Saint crystals emitting dense Saint spiritual chi fell to the ground. Patter patter. The number of crystals was so great that everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. They were all stunned on the spot. At the side, even Lin Rei himself was dumbfounded. Looking at his daughter who suddenly went berserk, there was a huge difference between her personality and the usual. Wu Ding and Long Outyen who came over were also stunned on the spot. Their steps halted in the air as they stared blankly at the scene before them. The atmosphere was awkward to the extreme. As for the waiter from before, he was completely dumbfounded when he saw the floor filled with high-grade Saint crystals. A bad premonition arose in his heart. Looking at the tens of thousands of Saint crystals on the floor, he felt as though he had offended someone he shouldn't have. Cold sweat flowed down his back uncontrollably. Right now, he didn't know whether to leave or stay. Looking at the aura of the young lady before him, his back was drenched in cold sweat. Are these enough to pay for the bill? Her expression turned cold. In her life, the thing she couldn't tolerate the most was others speaking ill of her father in front of her. She wouldn't allow it in any form. She instantly unleashed her mystic heavenly ice might. Strands of ice seemed to break out from her body. The windows, the table, the water in the teacups froze the instant she circulated the mystic heavenly ice might. Chapter 1193. Miss Lin, please calm down. Miss Lin, please calm down. A cold chill jolted Wu Ding awake. Looking at his current state, he hurriedly tried to stop her. As an elder of the Formation Guild, he understood that the power behind Tianping Inn was extremely strong. It was so strong that even the 1,000 Treasure Sect couldn't afford to offend them. Although the Formation Guild wasn't afraid of them, this inn was only a branch of their headquarters. Who are you? Hearing the voice, her gaze locked onto Wu Ding. She didn't know who this person was, but since he was able to identify her, it meant that he had seen the inn before. Wu Ding. However, before Wu Ding could reply, Lin Rei's expression changed as he called out Wu Ding's name. Boss Lin, I didn't expect to meet you here. I heard that Boss Lin was in seclusion. I didn't expect to be so lucky today. Wu Ding was well aware of how mysterious Lin Rei was. That was especially true after he had obtained the disc array. After examining it, he realized that Lin Li was far more mysterious than he had imagined. Elder Wu, you know this person? Looking at Wu Ding, the attendant naturally knew who he was. What shocked him was that even Wu Ding had to be so respectful to this person. Didn't that mean that his attitude earlier was, Shenyuan Empire, the boss of the 9 Heavens Inn? Do you think that he doesn't have the qualifications to eat upstairs? Boom! Wu Ding's words were like thunder from the 9 heavens, exploding in his mind. Instantly, his mind went blank, no longer working. The boss of the 9 Heavens Inn. This was a place that could be on par with the 4 major guilds. Even the young master of the 1,000 Treasure Sect was a frequent customer. How could he not have heard of him? But now, he actually underestimated the boss of the 9 Heavens Inn. This caused him to have the urge to die. As the saying goes, there's no medicine for regret in this world. You have to bear the consequences of your own actions. As he thought of this, he sobbed as he looked at Lin Rei and Lin Xian. He bowed and apologized. Boss Lin, Miss Lin, I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I didn't expect to offend the two of you. I'm really sorry. Oh? You have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai? Lin Rei coldly asked. That's not all. You look down on others with your snobbish eyes and arrogant eyes. Relying on your status as a servant of the Balance Tavern, you dare to act so arrogantly. What? Could it be that this restaurant can only be divided by status? Or could it be that the power behind you is just like this, looking down on people? You think you're better than others, but you don't know that you're actually the lowest level of existence. It's fine if you don't come to such an inn. As he spoke, he looked at his father and said aggrievedly, Father, let's not come to such an inn anymore. Do you dare? Wu Ding, Long Out Yen, everyone stared at the aggrieved look on Lin Xian's face as their mouths twitched. However, when he recalled the arrogant words spoken by Lin Xian earlier, Wu Ding couldn't help but bitterly smile in his heart. He initially thought that he would be able to stop her, but from the looks of it now, the reason why the Balance Tavern could be so tyrannical in the Shenyuan Emperor capital was mostly due to the pressure from the power behind them. But more importantly, it was because there was a saint-level expert in the Balance Tavern. However, Lin Rei and Lin Xian didn't know about this, nor did they want to know. He only knew that his daughter had been wronged here today and he had lost face. The consequences would be dire. You have the final say. However, in my opinion, since this tavern dares to bully others with so many rules, why don't we just destroy it? See, as the sound of his voice faded, everyone couldn't help but draw in a breath of cold air. All of them had strange looks in their eyes as they stared at Lin Rei. Even the royal clan of the Shenyuan Emperor capital wouldn't dare to say such words. This person actually dared to spout such arrogant words. You too. The servant couldn't bear it any longer. As an employee of the Balance Tavern, he naturally had to protect his boss. Now that someone dared to spout such arrogant words, how could he endure it? Naturally, the most important reason was that he felt that he had the backing of the Balance Tavern. That was why he dared to act so brazenly. The two of you are speaking too seriously. The Balance Tavern has been established in the Shenyuan Emperor capital for a very long time. Furthermore, the servant looked down at Lin Rei and Lin Xian with contempt. He sneered, You're dissatisfied. Do you think that you're invincible just because you've opened a store in the imperial capital? There will always be someone better than you. You are far too lacking. The servant wasn't the only one who thought those words. Everyone present was thinking the same thing, including Wu Ding and Long Outyen. TSK. Little Hu, how do you think you should deal with someone who dared to speak of your master in such a manner? The servant didn't respond and instead spoke to himself. Holy shit! This guy has gone mad. He's actually starting to talk to himself. That's right. Why doesn't he think about what kind of existence the Balance Tavern is? Even the royal clan and the various major powers don't dare to act impudently. What gives him the right to do so? That's right. He should take a look at himself. So what if he's the owner of a store? Discussions continued to ring out from the surroundings. Furthermore, they didn't try to conceal their voices at all. All of their words entered Lin Rei's ears. What should I do? Looking at the reactions of the crowd and Lin Rei's words, Long Outyen felt very conflicted. Considering that he was an elder of the Array Formation Guild, if he stepped out to help, he might bring trouble to the guild. However, just as the crowd was about to watch a show, Little Hu's voice rang out in Lin Rei's mind. His voice was filled with killing intent. Kill. Destroy everything here. Let them know that Brother Lei is not to be humiliated. Let them know that Miss Xian Er's words are not to be disobeyed. Not bad. Lin Rei was very satisfied with the little dragon's words. Boss Lin, the faction behind the Balance Tavern is very powerful. Furthermore, there is a sage in the tavern. What you're doing is really inappropriate. Wu Ding's voice interrupted Lin Rei. Is that so? After regaining his senses, Lin Rei looked at the worried Wu Ding and smiled. Boss Lin, I think you should leave quickly. In a while, I will plead for mercy as an elder of the Array Formation Guild. Perhaps on account of my status as an elder, they will. You are very good. Before Wu Ding could finish his words, Lin Rei interrupted him and continued. I will give you a chance to choose again. Follow me and I will teach you about array formations. I will help you break through the Sage Realm and reach a realm that you can only dream of in your lifetime. What do you think? Wu Ding was stunned. He didn't expect Lin Rei to still be joking. All right, it seems like you won't choose. Lin Rei's father. Although Wu Ding's aptitude was poor, he had a good nature. Lin Rei wanted to guide him, but it seemed impossible now. Do it. He didn't care about Wu Ding anymore. He was going to tear down this place today. No one could stop him. What? This tavern, roar? Just as the crowd thought that Lin Rei was still boasting, a beast roar interrupted their thoughts. Whoosh! A fiery red figure rushed out from Lin Rei's body and arrived at the center of the first floor in the blink of an eye. Today, all those who insulted my master will die. As a peak ultimate god demonic beast, the aura it exuded was not something some ants could compare to. Chapter 1194. The moment the demonic beast appeared, the crowd could no longer remain calm. Especially when the demonic beast emitted a tyrannical aura that filled the entire tavern. Everyone felt a chill run down their spine as cold sweat dripped down their backs, drenching their bodies. The scarlet flaming tiger's body continued to recover. At that time, the entire tavern would be destroyed by the scarlet flaming tiger's body. Even the surrounding buildings would be destroyed by the scarlet flaming tiger's body. Hee, I want to see when you will come out. His gaze landed on a certain corner of the tavern. Over there was an old man hiding in the shadows. He should be the guardian of the tavern. The old man's cultivation base was very strong. Of course, in Lin Rei's eyes, he was just an early-stage Dao fruit sage. As for the other cultivators in the tavern, other than an early-stage Dao fruit sage, the rest were all at the Hierarch realm and the weaker God Emperor realm. There were also those below the Emperor God level, and most of them were below the Emperor God level. There were no more than 20 ultimate gods and emperor gods combined. Looking at the scarlet flaming tiger, Wu Ding was stunned. He stared dumbfoundedly at the rapidly expanding scarlet flaming tiger and felt a lingering fear in his heart. He had seen demonic beasts of this level before. But, how the hell did this demonic beast charge out from Lin Rei's body? Father, aren't we causing too much of a commotion by causing such a ruckus? Why don't I inform the people in the tavern and let them? Looking at the chaotic scene, Lin Xian started to worry. Previously, she was just angry and didn't expect things to turn out like this. Only now did she realize that this place wasn't the divine world, nor was it the Xuanzong sect. It was the powerful Azure Mystic Empire. It's fine, don't worry. Anyone who dares to speak ill of my daughter in front of this sovereign must die. No matter how strong they are, what their status is, or how powerful they are. Waving his hands, he gave a reassuring smile. Little tiger, go ahead and cause a ruckus. If anything happens, your brother Lei will take care of it for you. He transmitted his voice to the scarlet flaming tiger. Okay, brother Lei. The scarlet flaming tiger seemed to have been waiting for this sentence for a long time. Its original speed increased by several times and its body rapidly grew. Kacha, kacha kacha. A series of shattering sounds rang out. At this moment, everyone who was in a daze regained their senses. They raised their heads and looked towards the source of the sound, only to see that the second and third floors had been destroyed by the demonic beasts. Let's go. The inn is going to collapse. Quick, run. Someone shouted, and in the next moment, everyone rushed out of the Balance Tavern as if they had gone mad. They stopped in the empty space outside the tavern and turned to look at the Balance Tavern. There was nothing but fear in their hearts. As for the previous attitude of ridicule towards Lin Rei and Yi Shiwen, at this moment, it had long since disappeared, and only fear and dread remained. They were afraid that Lin Rei would come back to his senses and deal with them after the matter at Balance Tavern was resolved. Gotcha! Cracks appeared outside the Balance Tavern. As the cracks grew larger, the entire tavern swayed in the wind and rain, as if a gust of wind would blow it away. What is going on? Why is the Balance Tavern acting like this? That's right. This is the Balance Tavern. How could something like this happen? F***CK look. That big fellow in the Balance Tavern, it looks like a demonic beast? Hey, old man, are you seeing things? How could a demonic beast appear in the Qingxian Empire's Shenyuan imperial capital? The commotion was so big that the passers-by did not gather in front of the tavern to watch the show. Inside the tavern, Wu Ding and Long Outyen did not leave. With their cultivation, even if the tavern was completely destroyed, they would not be in any danger at all. Right now, Wu Ding was most worried about Lin Rei's safety. Although there was a powerful demonic beast, the Balance Tavern had sage-level cultivators. The two could not be mentioned in the same breath, all right? Brother Wu, this friend of yours is quite bold. He dares to do this to the Balance Tavern. I really don't admire him. After glancing at Lin Rei, Long Outyen finally opened his mouth to praise Wu Ding. Yes, he was praising him. He felt very satisfied with Lin Rei's actions. Back then, he also felt that the rules here were a little ridiculous. He wanted to make a move but was stopped by his late father. Now that he saw someone else doing the same, he could not help but feel excited. Looking at the basically destroyed tavern, he felt an indescribable joy in his heart. Wu Ding. Looking at Long Outyen, Wu Ding was speechless. He thought that Lin Rei was a lunatic. He did not expect this guy to be a lunatic too. All right, let's leave quickly. This place is going to collapse soon, he said to Lin Rei. Yes. Brother, let's leave quickly. Isn't it interesting for you to go out and take a look? He agreed. Then he turned to Lin Rei and cupped his hands. You are? Long Outyen's words caused Lin Rei to start. This fellow was different from others. Others only had appearances. Even if Wu Ding didn't, he would still be afraid of the Balance Tavern. However, this young man before him had no fear at all. Not only that, he even dared to say such words. I'm Long Outyen. After introducing himself, Long Outyen waved his hands and interrupted when he saw the tavern was about to collapse. All right, stop dawdling. The little girl is still here. Even if you are not afraid of the little girl, Tisk, don't drag me into this. Just this little thing and you still want to make things difficult for this lady? Hearing Long Outyen using her as an excuse, Lin Xian directly interrupted, her expression filled with disdain. Lin Xian's reaction caused him to be caught off guard. Upon seeing this scene, Lin Rei bitterly smiled and shook his head. This daughter of his was good in every aspect. It was just that she was too strong in this aspect. However, she did have the qualifications to be strong. She who was at the peak of the Divine Monarch realm was truly nothing in this current situation. Skyfrost Sword Art, First Stance. 10,000 miles drifting snow. It was unknown when, but a long sword appeared in her hands. Activating the Skyfrost Sword Art, numerous sword silhouettes appeared. Seeing the ceiling collapsing towards Lin Xian waved the long sword in her hands, causing the sword silhouettes to shoot out at high speed. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. The wooden fragments falling from the ceiling were all shattered by Lin Xian's attack, turning into dust. Skyfrost Sword Art. Second Stance. Snow congealing. The mystic ice heavenly force circulated as traces of cold chi gushed out. In addition to the attribute of the Skyfrost Sword Art, the two of them were extremely compatible. Under the circulation of the mystic ice heavenly force, the user of the Skyfrost Sword Art would be even more proficient in using it. It was as though the Skyfrost Sword Art was a sword art created for the mystic ice heavenly force. Lin Xian's sword slashed out numerous lotus flowers in the air as snowflakes appeared, shooting out in all directions. Gotcha! Abruptly, a scene that caused Long Outyen to be shocked appeared. When the snowflakes came into contact with the entire Balance Tavern, they instantly melted, forming a layer of frost. Shatter! Gotcha! Bang! As the word shatter rang out, the remaining ruins of the Balance Tavern were instantly razed to the ground. The four of them and a gigantic demonic beast appeared in the vision of the crowd. When they saw Lin Rei and the others, the crowd couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. They silently remembered these people in their hearts, swearing that they couldn't afford to antagonize such people. It's over. It's completely over. It would be strange if they didn't treat me as their accomplice. Upon seeing the gazes of the crowd, Wu Ding's countenance crumbled as he bitterly smiled in his heart. At the side, Long Outyen's thoughts were the complete opposite of Wu Ding. His face was filled with excitement as he stared at Lin Xian, his eyes filled with worship. Thinking back to what he said earlier, he wasn't afraid of being embarrassed. He walked to the front of Lin Xian and asked, "Miss, your sword art is so powerful. I wonder which sect you are from? Can you introduce me to your sect?" Lin Rei, Lin Xian, Wu Ding. Initially, Long Outyen's impression of Qin Wentian wasn't bad. But now, his impression of Long Outyen was that he was shameless. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen someone as shameless as Qin Wentian. Before this, he wanted to be the hero who saved the beauty. But now, after seeing how powerful the sword art Lin Xian, used was, he wanted her to introduce him to his sect. How shameless was he? She couldn't be bothered with Long Outyen and walked to the other side of Lin Rei. However, she didn't relax in the slightest because at the instant when the inn was completely destroyed, a terrifying pressure bore down on her. "Father, what should we do now? The person hiding in the shadows hasn't come out yet. If this continues, the Azure Mystic Royal Clan might be alerted." Don't worry." He stretched out his hand and patted Lin Xian's head. He then turned his head and instructed the Scarlet Flame Tiger. "Little tiger, protect Xian well. If anyone dares to have designs on Xian, kill them all." "Wu, Brother Lei, don't worry. Even if I die, I won't let Xian suffer any injuries." The Scarlet Flame Tiger roared in rage as it guaranteed. Okay." After speaking, he stretched out his hand and wrapped it around Lin Xian's waist. The two of them instantly vanished, and when they appeared again, they were already behind the Scarlet Flame Tiger. "Xian, wait here for a while. After Father deals with the saints here, I will bring you home to cook delicious food for you." He placed Xian down as he spoke in a gentle voice. "Father, you, be careful." Upon seeing the worry in his daughter's eyes, Lin Rei flashed a reassuring smile as he nodded. "Don't worry, your daddy is Lin Rei, the sect leader of the Xuanzong sect." After reminding his daughter once more, he turned and vanished, returning to his original location. He stared at Wu Ding and the Scarlet Flame Tiger. "The two of you better leave quickly." After speaking, he ignored the two of them and walked to the center of the Tianping Inn. His gaze turned to the location where the saints were as he calmly spoke. "Dao friend, do you want this lord to invite you out or do you want to come out yourself?" Lin Rei's actions caused Chang Zai and the others to be bewildered. They stared at the scene, wanting to see what tricks Lin Rei was up to. However, Wu Ding and the Scarlet Flame Tiger were different. They knew that the Dao friend he was referring to was a cultivator from the Tianping Inn. "Still not coming out?" Lin Rei furrowed his brows when he saw that there was no movement from the place where the person was hiding. Then his brows relaxed. "If that's the case, then let's move around a bit." Ever since he entered the Saint Realm, he had never fought with his full strength. Now that he had the chance, why not? He had come out this time to gain experience and find experts to spar with. Then, he would be able to break through. Roar! A dragon's roar seemed to come from all directions. It was loud and clear, intimidating everyone present. They were all stunned on the spot. Clang! The primal chaos dragon spear appeared in Linley's hand. He stared at the cultivators of the Balancing Scale Tavern. Then his eyes narrowed and he disappeared. "Come, let this lord see how strong your Tianpingin's backup is." His figure appeared above the place where the person was hiding. Then, he waved the primal chaos dragon spear in his hand and used Martial God's move. PFFF. Suddenly, with the place where the person was hiding as the center, the space within dozens of meters started to overlap. "You have the power of space?" There was a cry of surprise. An old man appeared in the empty place. He stared at Lin Rei angrily. His eyes were filled with shock. "Hey, old man, I asked you to come out but you didn't. You just had to force this lord to do it." Lin Rei did not stop. He wanted to kill the old man. "You." Feeling the killing intent, the old man's expression changed. He took out a long sword and circulated his cultivation quickly. "Bastard. You're still far from being able to kill me. He brandished his long sword and streaks of sword will shot out, bombarding the folded space. He had a premonition that if the space completely overlapped, he would either die or be seriously injured. If he entered the space and encountered a space storm, he would only end up dead. Stop. Seeing that the space was still folding, his sword technique was completely useless. All of a sudden, a shield appeared in his hand. He raised it above his head and placed it horizontally. Suddenly, the space began to expand. Heh, you want to use the shield to prevent the space from overlapping? Looking at the old man's action, Lin Rei sneered. Illusory spirit blood fire. Refine it. If Lin Li wasn't an artificer, perhaps his opponent would have been able to break through it. However, it just so happened that there were quite a few of them. As a saint-level artificer, binding a top-grade divine artifact like this would only take the blink of an eye. Boom! The illusory spirit blood fire rushed out and covered the shield in the old man's hand. His spiritual energy entered the shield and found the spiritual imprint. He sneered and the illusory spirit blood fire instantly covered the spiritual imprint. In just a moment, the spiritual imprint left by the old man on the shield was destroyed. Pef. He spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale. He looked up and glared at Lin Rei. His heart was filled with shock. In just a moment, he could erase his spiritual imprint in the shield. Only a blacksmith could do this. You are a saint-level blacksmith? Asked the old man with a trembling voice. As far as he knew, the only ones who could do this were those who had broken through to the saint level, and only those who were at this level could do it. Oh, not bad. You have just revealed my identity. However, there is no reward. You still have to die. He did not forgive the old man just because he knew that he was a blacksmith. He saw killing intent in the old man's eyes. He could only feel at ease when someone who wanted to kill him was dead. At this moment, the old man regretted it. If he knew that things would turn out like this, he would have stopped the servant when he was talking nonsense. Now, he regretted it. However, even a saint-level expert could not be so cowardly. He looked up at Lin Rei and said, although I don't know which sect you are from, you must remember that the Xueqi clan will avenge me. Chapter 1195. My tongue is dry. Lin Rei didn't know about the Xueqi clan that the old man was talking about, nor did he want to know. He only knew that what he had to do now was to kill the old man in front of him. In order to prevent the other party's forces from causing trouble for him in the future. Even if they did, he had to kill the old man now. The Chaos Dragon's spear in his hand didn't stop. Lin Rei pushed the martial god stratagem to the extreme, causing the spatial layers to overlap even faster than before. After the old man lost his shield, he didn't have many divine weapons with him. There were even fewer divine weapons that he could use. After witnessing Lin Rei's means, he didn't want to take them out to use. Open! The spiritual energy in his body kept surging as he waved his sword. He didn't dare to stop. If he stopped attacking at this level, he would be killed in the end. In the imperial palace of the Shenyuan Empire, a young man in armor knelt on one knee in front of a middle-aged man in a dragon robe. His expression was extremely respectful. His forehead was covered in cold sweat and he didn't even dare to breathe loudly. You said, the Balance Tavern in the imperial capital was destroyed and 2 saint-level experts are fighting? The man asked. Zhong Hongying, this middle-aged man, was also the emperor of the entire Qingxian Empire. He was supposed to be resting, but when he heard the news of the Balance Tavern being attacked, his sleepiness disappeared instantly. He was very clear about the force behind the Balance Tavern. The Xueqi clan was an expert in the universe region. There were countless saint-level experts in the clan. Moreover, the clan master's cultivation was comparable to the 9th Heaven's Chenkuan sect master, Duan Weishang. As for the Balance Tavern, because the Xueqi clan was behind the Balance Tavern, it had branches in the 8 group regions, 9 heavens and 10 earths. No one dared to offend it. As an empire in the lowest level of the Holy World, the Yellow region, it was naturally not easy to go against them. They didn't even dare to have a verbal conflict. Not to mention that someone dared to come knocking on their door and destroy it. Your Majesty, the person who attacked seems to be the owner of the newly opened 9 Heavens shop, Lin Rave. During this period of time, the 9 Heavens shop has been doing very well. The 4 major guilds are very satisfied with the things in the shop. Also, I heard that the son of the Million Treasure Sect master, Lu Chengfeng, has been visiting the Nine Heavens shop frequently. It seems like he wants to befriend the Nine Heavens shop. Oh. Hearing this, Zhong Hongying looked at the young man below with an extremely gloomy expression. Balance Tavern was destroyed under his jurisdiction. Now that Stone Clan asked about it, their bloodline naturally wouldn't be able to escape responsibility. They might even be wiped out because of this matter. However, he couldn't make up his mind about the newly opened Nine Heavens shop. He had seen the items they were selling before, and there was nothing to say about their quality. Moreover, they were all of very high quality. Not to mention the entire Yellow region. Even the Stone Clan wouldn't dare to say that they could refine such high-quality items. It was also because of this that he was so hesitant, and did not directly go to Lin Rei and kill him. Who knew if Lin Rei had any power behind him, and if his power was as big as the Stone Clan? He did not want the entire Zhong Corporation to be implicated because of him. He couldn't bear the responsibility. Your Majesty, how do you think we should deal with this matter? According to the information we received, the saint-level cultivator guarding the Balance Tavern might not be a match for Lin Rei. What? This? Are you sure? Zhong Hongying was shocked. What the hell was going on? It was a battle between two saint-level cultivators, and according to the letter, both of them were early-stage saint-level cultivators. But now I'm sure. Looking at Zhong Hongying, the young man nodded and continued, I'm very sure. Your Majesty, do you think we should intervene? If the old man dies and the Stone Clan comes to ask us about it, how should we deal with it? Our empire also has saint-level cultivators. If the Stone Clan gets hold of this weakness, then... The young man didn't continue. He believed that even if he didn't say it, Zhong Hongying, as the ruler of a country, should understand. Indeed, they were in a dilemma. If they intervened, and Lin Rei turned against them, the empire would be in danger. If they didn't intervene, and the Stone Clan attacked, the empire would still be destroyed. It was a difficult choice. Your Majesty, you should make a prompt decision. Otherwise, I'm afraid there will be changes. The young man pleaded. Looking at the young man, Zhong Hongying had a headache. It wasn't that she didn't want to choose, but she didn't know how to choose. Time passed little by little while Zhong Hongying was deep in thought. As the ruler of a country, she had to weigh the pros and cons. That was all she could do. In the sky above the Balance Tavern, the old man was still holding on bitterly. Cold sweat kept dripping from his forehead, and the saint's spiritual chi in his body kept flowing out. He was about to run out of energy. However, the situation in front of him didn't change at all. He was still suppressed without any power to resist. Staring at the mocking expression on Lin Rei's face, the old man's rage soared up to the heavens. Because of a single sentence, the Balance Tavern was destroyed and he was in a precarious situation. As a businessman, such a transaction wasn't worth it at all. Miss Xian, I didn't expect your father to be so powerful. Two experts on the same level as him are actually able to suppress him effortlessly. Staring at the stalemate between Lin Rei and the old man, Long Outyen walked to the side of Xian, as he spoke in a low voice, his eyes filled with admiration and worship. Which sect are you from? I sincerely wish to pay a visit to your sect and take you as my master. I don't know. Damn, this brat still hasn't given up. Staring at the shameless smile on Long Outyen's face, Wu Ding helplessly shook his head. However, he was extremely interested in Long Outyen's question, especially regarding which sect Lin Rei belonged to. According to what he knew, there wasn't a single sect in the 8 regions, 9 heavens and 10 earths that had the name Lin Rei. Based on the information system of the Formation Association, if there was, how could he not know? Just give up. Lin Fan rolled his eyes at Long Outyen before turning his gaze back to the sky. Do you think you can find out about our sect just because you want to? With your talent, why did you come to our sect? To do odd jobs? His eyes were filled with concern as he stared at Lin Rei. However, when he spoke to Long Outyen, he didn't give any face at all. In our sect, the disciples who do odd jobs are all at the divine monarch realm. Even god emperors can only be considered disciples. Only divinities can be considered inner disciples. As for saints, there should be saints among the core disciples. You aren't joking, right? Lin Xian's words caused the hearts of the two old men to clench as their expressions were filled with disbelief. Are you kidding me? If saints are only core disciples, Then what are the cultivation levels of the elders in your sect? What about the sect leader? Lin Xian, didn't know about the shock in their hearts. If the two of them knew that Lin Xian, earlier words were a joke, it was unknown how they would feel. However, the two of them truly believed her now. Before this, they initially thought that Lin Rei had no cultivation base. But now, as soon as an expert made a move, they could tell whether or not he was. Saints, no matter which sect they were placed in, were all existences at the level of elders. Chapter 1196. Fellow Taoist, how can you let me go? In the air, fear spread throughout his body. He was scared, completely scared. Cultivation was not easy. If he died so easily, then all his friends and family would be avenged because of his arrogance. He didn't want to see this scene. Thus, there was only one path in front of him. Surrender. Surrendering was not scary. The scariest thing was doing something he knew was impossible. He knew he couldn't win, but he still wanted to save his face. In the end he would die. Heh, weren't you so arrogant just now? You even threatened me, saying something about Shi clan's revenge. What's wrong with you now? Scared? Scared? That being said, the holy spiritual qi did not weaken at all. On the contrary, it kept increasing. No. Fellow Taoist. Feeling the strength of the overlapping space increasing, the elder became anxious. Fellow Taoist, I am indeed scared. Cultivation is not easy. Who would want to lose their life because of something like this? How about this? As long as you let me go this time, I will give you everything I have. Oh right, I have a Tao comprehending tea. If you are willing to take me, this Tao comprehending tea is yours. In order to protect himself, he could give up everything. Tao comprehending tea? Tao comprehending tea, one of the innate spiritual roots. Its main function was to speed up the user's enlightenment. That's right. Tao comprehending tea. As long as you let me go, the Tao comprehending tea is. If I kill you, your things will still be mine. What kind of condition do you think that is? Lin Rei interrupted the elder. Indeed, as long as he died, everything he had would be taken away by the other party. But that was all he had. Even the Tao comprehending tea was something he obtained by chance. He didn't expect that it would not be a condition for negotiation. 4 symbols of dragon prison, seal of yin and yang. Seeing the elder in a daze, Lin Rei sneered. He took out a 2nd grade sacred grade talisman and slapped it at the elder. Boom! Suddenly, the holy spiritual qi within a radius of 10,000 miles seemed to be attracted by something. It swarmed and rushed towards the elder. As for the talisman that Lin Rei slapped out, it turned into a ball of flame the instant it reached the old man's head. In the blink of an eye, it was reduced to ashes. You! What are you trying to do? He sensed his surroundings. For better or for worse, he was someone from the Ian region, so he was very familiar with the dragon imprisoning talisman. This talisman was specifically used to imprison saint-level experts. Tao fruit saints had no way of dealing with it at all. Even earth sages of primordial chaos would have to be careful when dealing with it. What do you think? He didn't reply, instead revealing a mysterious expression. You. The old man despaired. Now, there was no longer any hope for Lin Rei to let him go. Heh. Say, do you think a Tao fruit saint cultivator would be able to refine a cauldron of treasured medicine with some top-grade spirit herbs? You've gone mad. You actually dare to use such demonic methods? Are you not afraid of being surrounded by the righteous Tao? Roared Qin Wentian. If you give this cauldron of treasured medicine to your family members, or to your friends and family, don't you think it will be interesting? Qin Wentian ignored the old man's words and continued to speak his mind. I think it will be very interesting. After they eat it, I'll tell them that the medicinal pill was refined with your body and soul. What do you think their expressions will be? The old man was speechless. In the old man's eyes, Lin Rei was no longer a human. He was a demon, a devil, a god of death who had climbed up from the depths of hell. As for the servant who had offended Lin Rei, he hated him to the bone. If there was a chance, he would drink his blood and eat his bones. If it weren't for that servant who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, he wouldn't have acted like this. Seal. Using the talisman as a guide, he gathered the spirits in all directions and turned them into a cage to seal the old man. If the caster didn't release the seal, no one else would be able to break it. The old man was sealed in the cage. At this moment, Lin Rei withdrew the Chaos Dragon Spear. The martial god also withdrew the talisman. The surrounding space instantly returned to its original state, and the overlapping parts were restored. Get down. Looking at the cage, Lin Rei stretched out his hand and aimed at the top of the cage. Suddenly, the cage that was floating in the air began to fall. Bang! With a dull thud, the surrounding ground trembled. Some of the buildings in the surroundings were instantly crushed into dust due to the impact of the dragon prison. The discovery of a saint was supposed to be earth-shattering. No one expected it to be resolved so easily. This made those who wanted to watch the show disappointed. Lin Rei landed on the ground and looked at the cage. Then, he locked his gaze on the crowd and finally on the servant who had spoken rudely. Trying to run? Looking at the servant who was about to leave, Lin Rei wouldn't give him a chance to escape. What a joke. Of course not. This whole thing started because of him. If he were to run away, he would be letting him off too easily. He raised his hand and aimed at the servant. The saint's spiritual chi in his body circulated and a suction force appeared. In the crowd, the young man's servant's fleeing figure suddenly stopped. No matter how hard he tried, it was useless. Whoosh! His body became light and he was instantly sent flying. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Lin Rei. Lin Rei grabbed him by the neck as if he was a little chick. You were very arrogant before, weren't you? Relying on the Balance Tavern, you were very powerful and didn't put anyone in your eyes, right? Looking at the servant, Lin Rei said. What about now? Now that the Balance Tavern that you relied on has been destroyed, what do you have to rely on? Him. Pointing at the old man who was locked in the cage, Lin Rei sneered. You bastard. Looking at the servant in Lin Rei's hand, the old man looked at him with bloodshot eyes. He looked like he wanted to kill him. Elder, it's not my fault. I don't want to, shut up. Seeing the servant continue to refuse, the old man berated him. He was really blind to have allowed such a person to enter the Balance Tavern. Karma and retribution. Everything was the result of his own sins. The people were chosen by him, and the things were done by the people he chose. Everything was predestined. You really want to kill him? Looking at the old man whose eyes were bloodshot, Lin Rei teased. Yes, I want to eat him alive, the old man replied. All right, I can give you this opportunity. Lin Rei nodded and smiled. He continued, however, before that, you have to tell me everything I want to know. Of course, I won't let you betray the power behind you. However, I already know that it's the Stone Clan. Hearing this, the old man raised his head and looked at Lin Rei. He was very confused. After all this time, he looked like he was going to kill someone. Now, he was going to refine and imprison him. Now, he wanted to know something from him. Moreover, it wasn't about the Balance Tavern. He really couldn't understand someone like Lin Rei who had messed up thoughts. However, none of this was important. As long as he could kill the servant in front of him, he would tell him everything he knew. All right, tell me. The old man nodded. Seeing the old man's firm attitude, Lin Fan smiled and asked, What's your name? Lin Firen. Do you know where the Netherworld King's ancient land is? Netherworld King's ancient land? The firm look in his eyes turned strange when he heard about the Netherworld King's ancient land. Yes, the Netherworld King's ancient land. Chapter 1197. Looking at Lin Firen, Lin Rei believed that the person in front of him definitely knew about the Underworld King's ancient land. It would be strange if a Saint Realm cultivator didn't know about it. Lin Rei's expression at this moment had already betrayed him. This made Lin Rei even more certain that he knew about the Underworld King's ancient land. Moreover, he knew a lot about it. At this moment, the surrounding people couldn't hear the conversation between Lin Rei and Wu Ding. They could only see the two of them moving their lips, but no one knew what they were talking about. In the area around Linley and Bibi, there was a soundproof formation that completely blocked out all sound from the two of them. This was why Linley was able to speak so brazenly. As an array master, Wu Ding could naturally sense the existence of the soundproof array. However, he didn't try to break it. He didn't dare to. Moreover, the soundproof array was very sensitive. Once it was touched, it would be sensed by the array master. After seeing Lin Rei's cultivation base, He didn't dare to provoke him. If he made a mistake, he would be playing with fire. He couldn't bear the consequences. In the array, Lin Firen looked at Lin Rei. He believed that this was Lin Rei's true purpose. Everything before was just for show. This was the real purpose. Of course, knowing this didn't change anything. Knowing the current situation, he didn't hide anything and told Lin Fan everything he knew. There was a riot in the Underworld King's ancient land. The scale was extremely large. The heavens and earth were shocked. All the experts in the 8 regions, 9 heavens, and 10 earths have sensed it. The pressure from the world is so great that we don't even have the will to resist. We don't even have the thought of resisting. He was too strong. We couldn't catch up to him. Lin Firen seemed to have returned to the time when the riot happened in the Underworld King's ancient land. His body couldn't help but tremble violently. His expression was filled with fear. It was as if recalling the memories was a kind of self-torture. However, this was precisely what Lin Rei didn't want to hear. Get to the point. I don't want to know about your experiences. Lin Firen. He was pulled back to reality by Lin Rei. He took a deep breath and calmed the fear in his heart. He continued, the Netherworld King's ancient land was in an uproar. The demonic beasts started to rush out. At that time, all the cities around the Netherworld King's ancient land were massacred. What's even more shocking is that all of the marquises who were slaughtered by the humans have taken their belongings into storage. They have no intention of returning. The appearance of this scene caused all the people in the surrounding cities to feel panic. However, what was even stranger was that those monstrous beasts Panku Ho did not act recklessly. Instead, they returned to their calm, as if nothing had happened. At that time, all the disciples of the sects, empires, and aristocratic families went out to explore the Netherworld King's ancient land. However, when they reached the entrance of the Netherworld King's ancient land, they were shocked by the scene at the entrance and didn't dare to take half a step forward. Lin Rei's interest was piqued. He hadn't expected that a single dusk of all heavens could cause such a huge commotion. What made him even more interested was why those people had stopped. Tell me why. Why didn't those people enter the Netherworld King's ancient land? Lin Rei asked. Because of the monstrous beasts. Fear and trembling couldn't stop as they spoke about what had happened back then. It was filled with monstrous beasts. When we arrived at the entrance of the Netherworld King's ancient land, the entrance was filled with monstrous beasts. We didn't know how many monstrous beasts there were, but when we saw them, we felt our scalps go numb. There were many saint-level monstrous beasts there. Given our strength at that time, it wasn't difficult for us to enter the Netherworld King's ancient land. However, what really frightened us was the thing in the depths of the Netherworld King's ancient land. His roar seemed to have transcended the ancient times. When all the monstrous beasts heard his roar, they all knelt down and submitted to him. The scene was truly magnificent. I have never seen such a scene in my entire life. Especially the pressure of the heavens and earth at that time. It was as if the monstrous beast's roar was constantly pressing down on us. At that moment, the saint's spiritual chi in our bodies was suppressed. In the end, we had no choice but to retreat. Then, did you guys not go back after that? Lin Rei asked. After all, cultivators were going against the heavens. Moreover, some cultivators who valued benefits above all else would definitely go in and take a look. We did. After that, the entire holy world sent several groups of people to enter the Netherworld King's ancient land. However, they all stopped at the periphery. After that, the Netherworld King's ancient land became a forbidden place in everyone's hearts. No one mentioned it again. He looked at Lin Rei and reminded him. Although I don't know why you are asking about the Netherworld King's ancient land, but let me give you a piece of advice. Don't go there. Otherwise, you will only regret it. The terror of that place is not something you can withstand. Back then, even Earth Sage Hunyuan couldn't enter. Do you think that an early-stage Dao fruit sage like you can enter? There was no reply. Others might not know, but he was very clear. The system had said that the dusk of the Netherworld King's ancient land was born. Now, if he guessed correctly, the monstrous beast's roar that Lin Firen and the others heard must have come from the dusk of the heavens. However, what puzzled Lin Rei was that the dusk of the heavens had just appeared. How could it possess such a powerful force? If that was the case, why did the system ask him to go and subdue it? With his weak arms and legs, not to mention subduing the dusk of the heavens, He might not even be able to pass through the sea of beasts. Lin Rei's silence made Lin Firen's heart sink. He didn't know Lin Rei's personality, but he could see that this person was unpredictable. One moment, he was shouting to kill him. The next moment, he locked him up and asked him to interrogate him. This kind of person was the most difficult to understand. He was afraid. He was afraid of being killed. He was afraid that he would be killed because of this matter. When he thought of his family, his heart was filled with regret. Sigh. Lin Firen sighed and stopped thinking about it. He sat down cross-legged in the cage, waiting for death to come. He was furious and glared at the servant who tricked him. TSK, what should I do? If what this guy said is true, isn't it the same as courting death if I go there? If I don't go, the system won't be merciful. So annoying. He shook his head with a troubled expression. Seeing Lin Rei's actions, the outside world was even more confused. They couldn't understand what he was doing. Time passed in Lin Rei's silence. No one dared to speak, afraid that they would be killed if they weren't careful. I'd rather be on good terms with this person than be enemies. On a second floor not far from the wreckage of the Balance Tavern, an old man saw everything that happened. He had a deep understanding of Lin Rei's strength. Go, pass down the order. In the future, the Blacksmith Guild will try not to talk about conflicts with the Nine Heavens shop. Even if there is, try to ease the relationship. After all, it's not the headquarters this time. Young master, you're right. This boss Lin is really not simple. I know about Lin Firen from the Balance Tavern. Although he's only an early Dao fruit saint, his methods are extraordinary. Moreover, he has the Stone Clan's cultivation techniques and battle techniques. He also has the backing of the Stone Clan. Boss Lin can easily suppress someone like him. Hearing this, Lu Chengfeng's eyes narrowed. He turned to look at Elder Qiong and nodded with a smile. Yeah, but I didn't expect Boss Lin to be so awesome. I really want to see what kind of sect Boss Lin is from. A mere servant can defeat me. If I can join Boss Lin's sect, wouldn't my strength rise to another level? Moreover, thinking of Lin Xian Lu Chengfeng couldn't help but want to join her sect. Young master, don't tell me you've taken a fancy to Boss Lin's daughter? Looking at the admiring expression on his young master's face, Elder Qiong probed. However, as soon as the words left his mouth, Lu Chengfeng nodded without hesitation. That's right. Everyone loves beauty. Although Miss Xian isn't that gentle, her personality is very good. She's the type I like. If I can become Dao companions with her, I'll have no regrets in my life. As he thought about it, the scene of him becoming Dao companions with Lin Xian appeared in his mind. That smile and that drool made Elder Qiong's mouth twitch. His eyelids twitched violently. And this scene happened in many places in the imperial capital. Without exception, they all ordered their subordinates to behave themselves and not to have any conflicts with the people of Nine Heavens shop. As for Lu Chengfeng's matter, he was probably the only one who thought so. In the ruins of the Balance Tavern, Lin Rei regained his senses. Looking at the servant in his hand, he smiled and casually threw him to the side of the cage. He's yours. No. Elder you bastard. How dare you beg for mercy? You've caused this old man to be in such a miserable state. Looking at the servant, Lin Firen didn't waste any more words. He stood up, reached out his hand through the gap in the cage and grabbed the servant's throat. Elder crack. The sound of bones breaking could be heard. Suddenly, the servant's begging stopped abruptly. His eyes widened, filled with unwillingness and disbelief. It was as if he never thought that such a day would come. Plop. Releasing his grip, Lin Firen threw the servant's corpse on the ground. He turned around and sat back in his original position, looking like he was waiting for death. As for resisting, he didn't have that thought and he didn't have the ability to do so. Being locked in the cage, what ability did he have to resist? If he could get out, perhaps he might have a chance to resist. But now, Lin Firen's action made Lin Rei smile. He didn't expect this old man to be so resolute in the face of death. However, as he watched, Lin Li suddenly didn't feel like killing him. It wasn't easy for a saint-level expert to cultivate. If he killed him so easily, wouldn't it be a waste? It was too inhumane. As he thought about it, an idea came to his mind. He communicated with the little dragon in the system and asked, "Little dragon, do you think the spirit controlling pill used by a saint-level expert will be effective?" Eh? Little dragon? After a long time, the little dragon didn't respond. Lin Rei was stunned and asked again. However, there was still no response. It seemed that the little dragon couldn't be counted on. System, do you think the spirit controlling pill can control a saint-level expert? Ding. Yes, but the effect isn't very good. If you want to control a saint-level expert completely, you need him to open up his spirit ocean and offer up his soul imprint. Then, you can use the illusory spirit blood fire to place it in his spirit ocean. If that's the case, I believe the host should understand without me saying it. Spirit ocean? Hearing this, Lin Rei understood. Indeed, the spirit-controlling pill was just an ordinary item to him. It might be possible to control a godly state expert, but it shouldn't have any effect on a saint-level expert. As for placing the illusory spirit blood fire in the spirit ocean, it was a good idea. Okay, thank you. After saying that, Lin Rei exited the system space and looked at Lin Firen. He said, "Old man, there are two choices in front of you. First, you can be killed, and then your former enemies will vent their anger on your family." What? What about the second choice? Lin Firen asked. Indeed, the first choice would happen. If he died, his enemies would indeed use his family as a living sacrifice. Second, I'll let you go, but you have to listen to me. Open up your spirit ocean and hand over your soul imprint. Then, I'll let you go. Of course, you can also choose the first choice, but in that case, your family will suffer, or it can be your friends and family. You can take a look and see if the force behind you will protect your family and friends because of your death. After speaking, Lin Li turned around and sat down in the meditative position, beginning to recover. Although the battle just now didn't consume much of the saint's spiritual qi in his body, he had nothing to do. He believed that Lin Firen would be conflicted for a while. Time passed little by little. Lin Firen was still in a dilemma. It was difficult for him to choose now. Logically speaking, the two choices were easy to choose, but when he thought of the Shi clan's power, he subconsciously returned to a dilemma. It was difficult to choose. "Grandpa, look, this is delicious. Eat it." Suddenly, just as Lin Firen was in a dilemma again, a cute child appeared in front of him. He kept calling him Grandpa. "Sewer." Lu Jinfeng raised her head and saw the child smile. Her heart calmed down. At this moment, the correct choice appeared in her mind. "No, I can't let anything happen to Sewer. I can't let anything happen to my family. I can't let anything happen to those people. Right, I can't." As if he had found the direction to live, he raised his head and looked at Lin Rei. He said, "I'll submit. I'll submit to you. However, you have to guarantee the safety of my family. If that's the case, even if you want me to submit to you, even if you want me to die, I'm willing. Guarantee your family." Lin Firen opened his eyes and looked at Lin Firen's determined gaze. Yes. Lin Firen's gaze was fixed on Lin Rei, waiting for the answer he wanted. Lin Rei had already expected Lin Firen's answer. Thus, he didn't think for too long. He nodded and said, "Okay, I promise you. As long as you submit to me, I will protect your family. No one can do anything." Chapter 1198. Lin Rei's promise did not require the approval of the Tendo or the Great Tao. What he said was the only proof. As long as the other party betrayed him, the promise would always be limited. Moreover, he wasn't too interested in early-stage Tao fruit saints. He could create plenty of early-stage Tao fruit saints if he wanted. However, he was different. His sect's disciples were all made up of pills. If that was the case, his sect would be destroyed sooner or later. This was also the reason why all his disciples in the monarch, emperor, and ultimate god realm did not take any pills. Just like the battle between Hong Yun and Lu Chengfeng, Hong Yun defeated the enemy with one move. This was the result of his training. Can you really guarantee my family?" He seemed to be a little distrustful of Lin Rei. After all, his cultivation was so low, while the Shi clan was such a huge existence. Nonsense. If I can't, why would I waste my time talking to you? Really? As he spoke, the illusory spirit blood fire rushed out. The blood-red flame danced in Lin Rei's palm like a ball of blood. It was a shocking sight. Wave. Under Lin Rei's gaze, a blood-red bead the size of a longan separated from the illusory spirit blood fire and fell into Lin Rei's hand. The bead split from the illusory spirit blood fire. He retracted the illusory spirit blood fire in his other hand and looked up at Lin Firen. He said, "Open your spirit sea and hand over your soul imprint. Let me eat this. After that, I will fulfill your promise." As he spoke, he waved his hand and threw the blood-red bead in front of Lin Firen. Lin Firen did not hesitate. Since he had made up his mind, there was no need to hesitate. He reached out and caught the bead. Then he put the pill into his mouth and swallowed it. He opened his spirit sea and gave his soul imprint to Lin Rei. Not bad. He was very satisfied with Lin Firen's attitude. Then, he separated a wisp of his spirit and sent it into Lin Firen's open spirit sea. Finally, it stood in the space of Lin Firen's spirit sea. He had no plans for Lin Rei's future. However, if Lin Firen had any ill intentions, he would be the first to know. Even if the other party was in a different space, as long as Lin Rei was willing, he could kill him with a single thought. Looking at the soul imprint in his hand, Zhang Xian stored it in the system's storage space. Then, with a wave of his hand, he activated the formation around him. "Dad, what were you talking about just now? Why don't you know about formations?" At the instant the formation was undone, Lin Xian took a step forward. She didn't wait for Lin Rei to speak as she started to grumble. Master." Just when Lin Rei was about to explain, Lin Firen's voice drifted into Lin Rei and Lin Xian's ears. "What?" She turned her head and looked at Lin Firen. At this moment, she thought that she had forgotten her own question. She looked at Lin Firen in a daze. Before this, she was still shouting to kill him, but now, suddenly, he thought about how his father didn't know that the formation was isolating him from the outside world. It seemed that this matter had a lot to do with it. "Call me boss from now on. After all, I'm just the boss of a shop." With regards to the term master, Lin Rei felt some resentment in his heart. Maybe, it was because of the incident back in the aquamarine planet. Over there, the term master. Tiske, it was too obvious. Yes. Lin Firen nodded. He didn't feel that there was anything wrong with it. From his point of view, this was just a form of address. All right, the matter here has already been settled. Originally, we agreed to have a meal together, but it seems like there's no other way. Staring at the ruins beneath his feet, he shook his head helplessly. Let's go back. Under the gazes of everyone, Lin Rei walked towards the direction of the Nine Heavens merchant shop. "Father, wait for me." Staring at her father's departing figure, Lin Xian didn't hesitate and quickly chased after him. As for Lin Firen, now that he was Lin Rei's subordinate, he naturally had to follow behind. With regards to this, Lin Rei didn't bother to hide it. He didn't need it, and there was no need for him to do so. As for the Stone Clan, so what if they knew? At the very most, they wouldn't come to the Nine Heavens merchant shop and would just move to another location. After their strength grew, even if they were from the Xueqi sect, they would still be annihilated. Everyone had looks of shock and bewilderment in their eyes as they sent the three of them off. Wasn't this a little too careless? Earlier, the old man wanted to kill someone, but in the next instant, the old man actually left with the person who wanted to kill him. What the fuck? This was too careless. For those who were too similar in their hearts, when they saw Lin Rei and the other two leaving, they also followed after them. As for the remaining people, some were spies from the various major powers, while some had no interest at all. In fact, they were even afraid that they would be implicated in this matter. As for Wu Ding and Long Outyen, they were part of that group. Even now, Wu Ding was still in a daze. He truly didn't expect that the final outcome would be like this. As for Long Outyen, his thoughts were completely different from Wu Ding's. He was still thinking about the matters of his family. However, at this moment, he had shifted his focus from Wu Ding to Lin Rei. He had seen Lin Rei's methods before. If he could get Lin Rei's help, then the problem of his family would be solved. Back at the Nine Heavens merchant shop, Lin Rei and the other two returned to the shop. After ordering for the shop to be closed, Lin Rei brought the other two to the residential area behind the shop. When they arrived at a pavilion, the three of them stopped. Lin Rei sat down and gestured for the other two to sit down as well. Looking at Lin Firen, Lin Rei's face was extremely serious. What he was going to say next was all confidential. Of course, This was a secret that belonged to before the Xuanzong sect became strong. As for what would happen after the sect became strong, he would talk about it later. Looking at Lin Rei, he said, I promised you before. I will do it. In a while. Tell me the address of your family. Immediately give me a token that can prove it. I will send someone to bring your family members over. If there is a need, I will personally make a trip. Many thanks. Lin Firen nodded and didn't say anything else. Since you are now my subordinate, you should understand my sect. After all, you will be a member of the sect in the future. It is necessary to know these things. Sect. Looking at Lin Rei, Lin Firen's interest was piqued. He really wanted to know what kind of sect could nurture such a powerful existence. Lin Rei smiled at Lin Firen's anticipation. He said indifferently, my sect is called the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect. I was the one who founded it. I worked hard all the way from the mortal world and came to the holy world more than a year ago. Now, they were in the Chu Yuan Valley at the edge of the Qingxian Empire. That was where the Xuanzong sect was located. Lin Firen stared at Lin Rei in a daze. His eyes were filled with shock. It was as if he was listening to a heavenly book. What the hell is he trying to do? How could he not be shocked? From the mortal world to the holy world, it only took more than 4,000 years. Are you kidding me? Or did I not hear you clearly? For a sect, no. A person to grow from the initial Qi refinement realm to the current level, let alone 4,000 years, even hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years, there were plenty of people. 4,000 years. Only 4,000 years to break through to the holy world. Is this a joke? Lin Firen didn't believe it. Even the most amazing genius in the holy world wouldn't be able to cultivate to the holy world in 4,000 years. Just like him, he had cultivated for 150,000 years and had been stuck at the early stage of the Dao fruit realm for 20,000 to 30,000 years. Since he was still stuck at the early stage of the Dao fruit realm, he was truly unable to imagine exactly what level of genius was needed to break through to the Saint realm in just over 4,000 years. Why? You don't believe me? Lin Firen's expression was filled with doubt and unnaturalness. He didn't need to guess to know what he was thinking. Actually, it's nothing much. Back then, after this lord established the Xuanzong sect, I've been cultivating non-stop, not differentiating between day and night. Almost every day, I would be on the verge of death. If it wasn't for this, it would be impossible for me to have my current accomplishments. As he spoke, he pointed to Lin Xian. She is my daughter. She is almost 2,000 years old and her cultivation base is at the Grand Perfection Divine Monarch realm. Not long later, she will be able to enter the God Emperor realm. After that, she will become a hierarch. It's only a matter of time before she breaks through to the Saint realm. If my eldest son was still alive, I believe his cultivation base would be even higher than mine. Upon thinking of Jin En's cultivation talent, Lin Rei couldn't help but click his tongue. He stared at Lin Xian. He had long seen through her cultivation base at the Grand Perfection Divine Monarch realm. But who would have thought that she only needed 2,000 years to break through to the Grand Perfection Divine Monarch realm? That's enough. You will understand these doubts when you enter the sect in the future. Your choice is extremely correct. He didn't want to continue arguing about this matter. After he spoke, he continued. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I don't want you to have any worries. After your clan joins the sect, you can allow your clansmen to enter the Xuanzong sect according to their ranks. I believe that in the Xuanzong sect, your clansmen will have a very good cultivation environment. Swish! Lin Firen abruptly stood up. Only now did he formally acknowledge Lin Rei as his master. This was because he heard Lin Rei's promise to his clansmen. Sect leader, many thanks. His words came from his heart. There was no other meaning behind them. Let's talk about this in the future. Waving his hands, Lin Firen returned to his seat. The reason why I accepted you today is because I want you to guard the shops here. If possible, you can spread the shops throughout the entire Azure Mystic Empire. As for me, you have seen it. I'm still not strong enough to become an early-stage Dao Fruit Saint. In 1 or 2 years at most, I will leave here and go to various places in the sacred world to train and improve. I can't stay here forever. After I leave, the sect will send disciples to help. There will be divine grandmasters for refining pills, refining weapons, talismans, and formations. Therefore, you don't have to worry about the supply of high-grade goods in the shops. What you need to do is to guard the shops and not let anyone act presumptuously in the sect. In the remaining 1 or 2 years, I will let the remaining 20 people in the shops enter the sacred world. At that time, with all of you here, I can leave without worry. All of them enter the sacred world. Lin Firen seemed to have heard something big. His eyes widened in disbelief. Heh, you should know that this is not difficult for me. If it's possible, there will be over 10,000 early-stage Dao fruit saints in the sect within 10 years. However, if that's the case, the disciples of the sect would be completely destroyed. Maybe in Lin Firen's opinion, this was completely impossible. However, he didn't know that Lin Rei could create early-stage Dao fruit saints in a matter of minutes. However, if this was the case, the disciples of the sect would all be destroyed. One must know that the disciples of the Xuanzong sect were all top-notch existences. If they were willing to sacrifice themselves for some small benefits, the consequences would be the destruction of their spiritual roots, as well as the destruction of their talent. All living beings would stop at the early-stage Dao fruit saint realm. If they wanted to improve further, all living beings would be fine. Lin Firen didn't reply. On the other hand, Lin Xian's countenance was extremely unsightly. In 1 or 2 years, her father would be leaving. Would he bring her along? This was the only thought in Lin Xian's mind. This was also the only answer she wanted to know. The atmosphere turned heavy. Staring at the expressions of the two of them, Lin Rei smiled and teased. Father wants to take a trip to the Myriad Treasure Sect this time around. Do you want to come along? I will go, of course I will go. Lin didn't reject and directly replied. Okay. I will leave this matter to you. Sometimes, I will bring the 20 people in the shop with me. 2 years later, I will return and bring them back. At that time, I will leave. As the saying goes, make use of trash. In this bustling city, if one wanted to cultivate and break through, it might not be possible. But if one could find a paradise, things would be much easier. Of the 4 associations, Lin Rei didn't consider them. Only the Myriad Treasure Sect would be able to pass. Naturally, he also had his own selfish motives. If the Stone Clan really came, maybe his daughter would be in the Myriad Treasure Sect and he would feel much more at ease. Lin Firen didn't refute Lin Rei's decision. He couldn't refute it either. After all, he had to listen to Lin Rei now. Smelly brat. I've found a way to treat your daughter. Hurry up and come in. The sudden words of the little dragon caused Lin Rei to no longer have the mood to sit here and chat. You guys go do your own things first. Bring Lin Firen around the shop and introduce him to Hong Yun and the others. Swish, without waiting for the two to respond, Lin Rei's figure disappeared on the spot. Inside the room, Lin Rei had just entered the room. The moment he closed the door, he couldn't wait to directly enter the system. He came to the space where the little dragon was and looked at him. Lin Rei stepped in front of the little dragon in one step and reached out to grab the little dragon's arms. He said excitedly, Where is it? Where's the way to treat Xian? What is it? The little dragon was speechless. Lin Rei, who had always kept a straight face even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him, was now so anxious. The little dragon rolled his eyes and pushed Lin Rei's hands down. He took a step back. I say, can you control yourself? Those who don't know might think that you're going to do something to me. The little dragon laughed. Looking at the little dragon's smile, Lin Rei was stunned. He took a step back and rolled his eyes. He said, You rascal, we haven't seen each other for only a few years and you're already. The world has changed. Chapter 1199. Hey, you little brat. He stopped joking and corrected himself. I just found a cultivation method in the scripture depository. As long as you let your little girl practice it, she should be able to get rid of the pain caused by the dark heavenly ice strength when the pill loses its effect. The little dragon was silent, but Lin Rei could see that there was a hidden meaning in his words. There should be a but here. You know me well. The little dragon laughed. All right, stop joking around. Hurry up and tell me. Lin Rei interrupted and urged. He did not want to joke about this matter. Looking at Lin Rei's anxious look, the little dragon was not joking and told him about the side effect of the cultivation method. The cultivation method is similar to the one that Xian is practicing, but there is a side effect. This cultivation method will form an ice cocoon every 1,000 years. After a year, the ice cocoon will automatically break and return to normal. Ice cocoon? It was the first time he heard of such a situation. He did not expect that a cultivation method could have such a side effect. Yes, that's right. The little dragon nodded. Moreover, this kind of ice cocoon must be in a sealed environment. Otherwise, if the cold air of the ice cocoon leaks out, everything within 1,000 miles will be frozen instantly. No one will be able to survive. Not even an ultimate god. Lin Rei was speechless. Lin Li didn't want to talk anymore. Originally, he wanted to find a solution to this problem, but now that he had come into contact with the side effects of the heavenly ice technique, the side effects of this new technique were so strange. Understanding Lin Rei's concern, the little dragon assured, "Don't worry, this cultivation method is very useful. If she practices it, I guarantee that Xian Er's cultivation will improve by leaps and bounds. It won't be long before she breaks through to the Saint Realm. When that time comes, don't embarrass yourself. As for the ice cocoon, you don't have to worry about it." The little dragon gave Lin Rei a reassuring look and continued. "Once Xian Er's 1,000 years have passed and she forms an ice cocoon, you can store her into the system and everything will be fine." The little dragon's solution was indeed something that Lin Rei could not refute. Indeed, if he had kept the ice cocoon in the system, he would have been safe and sound, but if he wanted to cultivate, he might have to train for 1,000 years at a time. What should he do during this period of time? As he thought about it, not only did the worry in his heart not lessen, it became even more serious. He couldn't help but ask the little dragon, "Is there no other way? Are there any completely cured ones? I don't expect this girl to have great achievements in her cultivation in the future. I just hope that she can live a peaceful life without any worries." His expectant gaze made the little dragon a little nervous. He understood Lin Rei's thoughts. In the sutra depository, there were thousands of books. It was impossible to say that there were none. More importantly, he still had to search one book at a time. Even so, he had only searched 3 bookshelves in a year and a half. Thinking about the mountains and seas of books in the sutra depository, just thinking about it gave him a headache. How could he still want to search for a solution? "Do you have it or not? Say something." The little dragon's silence made Lin Rei a little impatient. "Yes, yes." Looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon opened his mouth and responded, "The method you mentioned does indeed exist, but I haven't found it yet. I can't guarantee the specific time, which is why I said this kind of thing is the safest. If you can give me a little more time, maybe I can satisfy all your requests." These words, the little dragon said a little unconfidently. In the end, Lin Rei basically couldn't hear what the little dragon said. Back then, the little dragon patted his chest and promised that 3 years was enough. Now this scene happened. Lin Rei was very angry about this, but there was nothing he could do. After all, he knew about the collection of books in the sutra depository. It was indeed a little unrealistic to want to find a cure in 3 years. But, thinking that his daughter's 3-year time limit would be up in a year and a half, it was normal for him to be anxious. He raised his head and looked at the little dragon. "Do it as soon as possible. I don't want you to use this kind of thing to fool me next time. It doesn't matter even if the time is up. I just hope that I can find a complete cure." "All right, then." Then in a year and a half. The little dragon wanted to say something but stopped. He understood the pain of the black ice heavenly force. "Don't worry. Don't you still have me, Master Dan's father? I don't believe that I can't find a cure in a year and a half. If it doesn't work, I'll be by Xian Er's side every day and use the fire of Hongmeng to relieve the pain caused by the black ice heavenly force." This was the only way he could think of. It was the last and helpless way he could think of. Now, everything depended on whether or not Xiaolong was hardworking enough, whether or not he was strong enough. Seeing that Lin Rei was insistent, the little dragon didn't say anything more. He could only try his best to promise. "All right. Since you've decided then, I'll try my best to find a cure in a year and a half. Don't disturb me for a year and a half. If I don't come out after a year and a half, it means that I haven't found the answer. At that time, it's up to you." I understand. Don't worry." The little dragon nodded. After that, the two of them chatted for a while before the little dragon returned to the system. As for Lin Rei, he sat quietly in his room, staring at the wall in front of him. No one knew what he was thinking. In the shop, Lin Xian followed Lin Rei's orders and brought Lin Firen around, introducing him to Hong Yun and the rest. After that, she introduced the structure of the Nine Heavens shop as well as some products that the shop didn't have. Because of this, along the way, Lin Firen was shocked again and again, the kind that could not be stopped. With every step they took, they could clearly hear Lin Firen's exclamations of surprise. Because of this, Lin Xian stared at Lin Firen as though she was looking at a country bumpkin. She found it hard to believe that Lin Firen had never seen alchemy pills or weapons before. Because of this, Lin Xian was very generous and allowed Lin Firen to pick a first-grade saint-ranked weapon from the second floor. With regards to this, Lin Firen was moved to tears. His tears caused Lin Xian to feel helpless. After a round, Lin Firen basically understood the current situation of the Nine Heavens shop. Because of this, he felt even more anticipation towards the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect. With regards to all this, Lin Rei had no idea. He was still in his room, staring at the wall in a daze. He thought about many things, but the thing he thought about the most was still the dusk of the myriad heavens in the Netherworld King ancient grounds. After all, the dusk of the myriad heavens was a mission given by the system. If he neglected it, the one who would be punished in the end would be him, and only him. As for the pain brought by the dark ice heavenly art, he believed that as long as he worked hard, there would definitely be a way to alleviate it. Time passed by very quickly. The news of Lin Rei destroying the balance scale didn't die down. On the contrary, it spread even more intensely, becoming the topic of conversation in the Shenyuan Empire. Chapter 1200. Lu Chengfeng naturally knew this as well. When Lin Rei started the battle, Old Qiong had already sensed two powerful auras. Naturally, after sensing the auras, he also came to a location not far from where Lin Rei and Lin Firen were fighting. With regards to Lin Rei's strength, Old Qiong had a new understanding of it. Naturally, he was very clear about what happened in the Tianping Inn. Not long after Lin Rei left, Old Qiong returned to the Tianping Inn and recounted everything that happened there. After hearing everything, Lu Chengfeng didn't say anything and directly walked towards the Nine Heavens shop. He wanted to see if Lin Firen was in the Nine Heavens shop. He wanted to see how strong Lin Rei was. When he thought of what Old Qiong said, other than shock, he didn't feel anything else. In the backyard of the Nine Heavens shop, Lin Rei regained his senses and didn't think about those useless things. Right now, the only thing on his mind was to go to the 10,000 treasure sect. After all, he had promised to nurture 20 initial stage Dao fruit saints within 2 years. He had to keep his word. After all, he couldn't stay in the Nine Heavens shop forever. Time was of the essence and he couldn't delay any longer. He pushed open the door and walked out. And at the instant Lin Rei walked out, Lu Chengfeng stepped into the Nine Heavens shop. Brother Chengfeng? Lin Xian who had been waiting in the shop, asked in puzzlement when she saw Lu Chengfeng. He hadn't left for long. Why was he here again? Naturally, she didn't say this out loud. Sister Xian After greeting Lin Xian he started to scan the entire first floor. However, to his disappointment, he didn't discover Lin Rei's figure. Sister Xian where's Brother Lin? Lin, you mean my father? He's in the backyard. Lin Xian replied. Then, can I pay my respects to your father? Lu Chengfeng went straight to the point, not hiding anything. The reason he came here this time was to meet Lin Rei. Staring at Lu Chengfeng, Lin Xian started. Meet my father? There's no need. Although Lin Xian was puzzled, she still wanted to reply. But before she could finish her words, Lin Rei's voice drifted over from outside the door. I'm here. As he spoke, his figure walked in from outside the door and landed in everyone's line of sight. Father, Brother Lin, boss. Everyone bowed. Yes. By the way, young Master Lu, I wonder what brings you here. Lin Fan nodded and fixed his eyes on Lu Chengfeng. Of course, when he saw Lu Chengfeng, he vaguely understood the purpose of his visit. Brother Lin, I heard from Elder Qiong that your cultivation is extremely shocking. You even destroyed the balance scale in. That was a bit reckless. As he spoke, he seemed to be afraid that Lin Rei would misunderstand, so he hurriedly explained, Brother Lin, this one doesn't mean to preach. It's just that behind balance in is the Stone Clan. The Stone Clan is naturally warlike, and their protective nature is well known. If the Stone Clan finds out that you destroyed their clan's property, I'm afraid they will retaliate. His concerned gaze caused Lin Rei to be in a daze. However, he felt warmth in his heart. If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely be wary of the Stone Clan and start to distance themselves from them. Brother Chung Feng, you don't have to worry about this matter. Lin Xian'er spoke. This Stone Clan is, don't worry. Father will handle this matter. Lin Fan interrupted Lu Qingfeng's words and continued, and even if you do, what can you do? Are you sure the Myriad Treasure Sect will act for us? Not only Lin Xian'er understood this point, Lu Qingfeng understood it even more. It was impossible for the Myriad Treasure Sect to help them. You have to understand that you are only a young master of the Myriad Treasure Sect. You cannot represent the entire Myriad Treasure Sect. Maybe your father is the sect leader of the Myriad Treasure Sect, but not you. Lu Qingfeng didn't say anything. He understood that although Lin Xian'er's words were a little extreme on the surface, she didn't want to drag Lu Qingfeng into this matter. Lin Rei saw this clearly. Looking at the anxious look on his daughter's face, Lin Rei had a bad premonition in his heart. F***ck, don't tell me this lass will fall in love with this brat if things continue like this? His gaze towards Lu Qingfeng was filled with wariness and hostility. The suppression of the situation made Lin Rei feel a little uncomfortable. I say, what are the two of you doing? This matter has already passed. As for the Stone Clan, we will deal with them as they come. This isn't something you two should be worried about. However, Lin Fan suddenly changed the topic as his gaze landed on Lu Qingfeng. He originally planned to stay in the Myriad Treasure Sect for 2 years and didn't know what to say. Now that Lu Qingfeng came knocking on his door, wouldn't it be a pity if he didn't make use of this trash? Qingfeng, you said earlier that you are worried about us. Why don't we what? Lu Qingfeng squinted his eyes and looked at Lin Rei warily. A moment ago, he was still young Master Lu, but now he was talking like the wind. There must be something wrong when things were abnormal. My daughter, my 20 subordinates, and I want to go to the Myriad Treasure Sect and borrow your precious land for 2 years. Of course, in order to show that we are not wrong, I can promise you that I will refine a batch of weapons for the Myriad Treasure Sect. There will be weapons of both God level and Saint level. I will pay you the money and you will have to pay me a visit. But it will only be a handicraft fee. What do you think? You can refuse. However, I believe that the surrounding sects would be very willing to see their sect's overall combat strength increase. When the time comes, their sect's ranking will also be slightly higher. As soon as the word I came out of Lu Qingfeng's mouth, it was as if a fishbone was stuck in his throat and he couldn't say anything else. This condition was very tempting. Indeed, if he could get these weapons, the strength of his sect would improve by several levels. However, thinking that Lin Rei had just offended the Stone Clan, this matter was a bit difficult to handle. Father, why do you want to go to Brother Qingfeng's sect? Are we going to trap him here? Lin Xian'er asked. She didn't really understand. Naturally, she was worried that the Stone Clan would implicate the Myriad Treasure Sect because of them. Although the two of them didn't have a deep relationship, he wasn't willing to cause trouble for them. Seeing his daughter's puzzled and anxious gaze, Lin Rei rolled his eyes and ignored her. His gaze landed on Lu Qingfeng as he continued to tempt him. Qingfeng, to me, this is a losing deal. You have to think carefully. After speaking, he sat to the side and waited quietly. He believed that in front of such temptation, no one would be able to resist. Not only that, if the Stone Clan wanted to come here, they would need more than 2 years to do so. The shop seemed to have entered a state of stagnation. Nobody spoke, causing the atmosphere to be extremely strange. Chapter 1201. Time and space seemed to have stopped. Everyone looked at Lu Qingfeng expectantly, waiting for his reply. Lu Qingfeng didn't seem to notice the expectant gazes of the crowd. Or perhaps, he intentionally ignored them. Of course, only he knew the details. The deal that Lin Rei mentioned just now was like a devil's voice that kept repeating in his mind. There was no end. It was as though it was engraved in his mind. When he thought about how the strength of the sect would increase tremendously after obtaining a high-grade weapon, he couldn't help but agree to Lin Rei's condition. But it was still the same. He didn't have the authority. He had to report to his father before he could give him an answer. He didn't dare to make the decision himself. This was related to the life and death of the Wanbao sect. The current Lin Rei was like a hot potato. No one dared to touch him. Even if they dared to touch him, they would be careful. After a long time, Lin Rei was still fine. However, Lin Xian couldn't stand it anymore. She glared at Lu Chengfeng and scolded. How long are you going to think about this? It's already a loss for my father to agree to forge a weapon for the Wanbao sect. You're so wishy-washy, just like a girl. Don't you have any courage? Really, you're too cowardly. Which girl would dare to like you? After saying that, she left in a bad mood. However, Lin Rei was stunned. Looking at his daughter who was throwing a tantrum, Lin Rei shook his head helplessly. He really didn't know what to do with this daughter of his. But he felt that what she said was reasonable. Indeed, as the young lord of a sect, he couldn't even solve such a small problem. Those who didn't know him would think that his position as the young lord of a sect was fake. However, he didn't say anything. It was up to him whether he could succeed or not. Even if he couldn't, it wasn't difficult to find a paradise. What was difficult was that it would take some time. Lin Firen, wait here. Inform me when there's a result. After instructing Lin Firen, he turned his gaze to Hong Yun. Hong Yun, call the remaining 19 people to my room. Yes, boss. Hong Yun nodded and disappeared from the shop, heading towards where the remaining disciples were in seclusion. As for Lin Rei, he didn't want to waste time with Lu Chengfeng. He went back to his room to prepare. Since he had decided to nurture a practical person, he could not just sit around idly. As for humans, he decided to use medicinal pills to increase their cultivation. As for the side effects of consuming medicinal pills, he would use medicinal baths to resolve them. He was probably the only one who would dare to do such a thing. Most importantly, he was willing to spend a lot of money on his disciples. This was something that other sects, forces, and even holy lands could not compare to. In the eyes of those sects and holy lands, as long as the sects had a few representative missions, it would be enough. Using all the heavenly materials and earthly treasures on those outstanding talents would bring fame, power, and benefits to the sections. However, Lin Rei strongly disagreed with their views. In his opinion, the sect was supported by the disciples. If there were no disciples, would the sect still be used? Therefore, he wanted to nurture all the disciples of the sect into outstanding talents in the eyes of those major forces. He wanted to use the entire sect to suppress the entire holy world. It was a crazy idea. Moreover, the amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures needed to achieve this was also very shocking and unimaginable. In the room, Lin Rei placed the supremacy-breaking pills on the table. These pills did not have any side effects, but every pill had its own side effects. Moreover, using medicinal pills to make a breakthrough would cause the cultivator's foundation to be unstable. Although the cultivator's cultivation realm could be considered as hierarch realm, in actual combat, the cultivator would be much weaker than those who broke through with their own strength. This was also the reason why he did not want his disciples to rely too much on medicinal pills. Otherwise, the entire Xuanzong sect would be filled with cultivators of the Saint realm. Lin Rei waited for Hong Yun and the others to arrive. Looking at the 20 of them, 6 of them had broken through to the hierarch realm. He was very pleased with them. If they broke through with their own potential, their future would be limitless. Of course, those who broke through with medicinal pills did not mean that their future would come to an end. Straight men who used medicinal baths prepared by him would eventually break through like normal people. Looking at the 20 of them, Lin Rei nodded and smiled. You all have done well. In a year and a half, 6 of you have broken through to the hierarch realm and completely consolidated your cultivation. Not bad. Of course, those who have broken through to the hierarch realm should not be arrogant. You still need to work hard and continue to break through. As for those who did not break through, don't be discouraged. Saying that, he reached out and handed the medicinal pill bottles on the table to them. These are the medicinal pills for breaking through to the hierarch realm. Use these medicinal pills to make a breakthrough and then use the medicinal baths I prepared for you to complement each other. The side effects of taking medicinal pills will be completely eliminated. Sect Master, using medicinal pills to make a breakthrough, isn't that what you hate the most? Hong Yun was puzzled and asked. Hey, you little brat. Looking at Hong Yun, Lin Li chuckled. then began to explain his plan. 2 years. In 2 years, I want all of you to enter the Saint realm, the kind that has no side effects at all. After that, you all will go to the Aeon domain and bring Lin Firen's family to the Xuanzong sect. Of course, if you don't have enough people, you can send a message to the sect. Everyone was speechless. No one spoke, but they all widened their eyes and looked at Lin Rei in disbelief. They looked at the sect master they worshipped in their hearts. In 2 years, 20 god emperors and hierarch realm cultivators had all entered the Saint realm. No matter how much they trusted Lin Rei unconditionally, they still had doubts about this matter. In their eyes, this was completely impossible. If the old fellows of the Saints' world, or even the cultivators of the Saints' world above the Saints' world heard of this, they would probably charge over and eat Lin Li alive. They entered the Saint realm either in 10,000 years, hundreds of thousands of years, or even hundreds of thousands of years. However, in Lin Rei's words, saints seemed to be particularly worthless, like cabbages that could be found on the streets. Lin Rei saw everyone's expression and knew that they didn't believe him. However, Lin Rei didn't explain. When the time came, the public opinion would naturally come. All right, it's decided then. I originally wanted to borrow the 1,000 Treasure Sect's territory to cultivate, but looking at Lu Chengfeng's hesitant look, it's still a problem. In that case, when all of you have entered the Hierarch realm, go out and take a look at some of the surrounding sections. If you find a good place, you can either buy it with Saint Realm crystals or kill it. If they have cultivators above the Saint Realm, come back and let me know. At that time, I will bring you all to destroy the sect. Chapter 1202. After the matter was decided, everyone left and went into seclusion. This time, Lin Rei gave them the order to break through to the revered realm. As for those who had already broken through to the revered realm, they would also be given an unlimited supply of medicinal pills to accompany the birth of the revered realm. With Lin Rei's guarantee, everyone was relieved to break through to the next realm. They were all geniuses among geniuses in the sect. Their aptitude and comprehension were all top-notch. As for Lu Chengfeng, he gave Lin Rei the answer he wanted. Regarding this, Lin Rei didn't think too much about it. Let nature take its course. A living person can't die from suffocation, right? As for Lu Chengfeng's hesitation, Lin Xian was disappointed. She didn't expect Lu Chengfeng's character to be like this. In the Xuanzong sect far away in Chuyuan Valley, a year and a half was enough for the sect to complete the transformation. More than half of the disciples had broken through to the Hierarch realm. As for breaking through to the true Saint realm, they didn't manage to do so. After all, breaking through to the true Saint realm not only required hard work, but also opportunity, and cultivation realm. Breaking through to the revered realm was enough to give the sect a chance to relax. As for the sect's conquest of the surrounding forces, it had also begun. The sect closest to Chuyuan Valley was called Glorious Sun Sect. It was too flattering to call it a sect. To put it bluntly, it was just a sect with tens of thousands of disciples. In Qingtian County, it could only be considered as a third-rate sect. And it was only in Qingtian County. In the entire Yellow region, it couldn't even be considered a third-rate sect, let alone a third-rate sect. Not for other reasons, but because they were too weak, Hong Lian couldn't bear to do anything to them. In the sect, the strongest one was only an early hierarch. The weakest one wasn't even a true god. Hong Lian and Ming didn't have the intention to accept such a sect into the Xuanzong sect. They were too weak and their aptitude was too poor. It was so bad that Hong Lian started to doubt her life. If it wasn't for the dense and high-grade spiritual qi in the sacred world, they wouldn't even be able to break through to the true immortal realm. Hong Lian and Ming were the leaders of the expedition that Lin Rei had ordered. As long as they needed, the sect would provide them with disciples unconditionally. This time, they had only brought 20 people with them. They thought that it would be enough, but they didn't expect that they wouldn't need so many people. Just one person was enough to annihilate the entire Luminous Sun sect. As for the Red Lotus, although Lin Rei had contacted it before, in the end, Lin Rei could not bear it and took it back. After all, the Red Lotus had always been very powerful, and with the help of the system, as long as they kept breaking through, they would follow Lin Rei and keep breaking through. Until Lin Rei could no longer break through. One had to know that this was an extremely terrifying condition. She and Ming were both perfected Dao fruit saints. Therefore, with the two of them around, even if they encountered a true third-rate or second-rate sect, they would be able to annihilate it. The 20 of them flew to the Bright Sun Sect and looked down at the rather large sect below. The corners of Hong Lian's lips curled up slightly. Her face was filled with disdain as she glanced at Ming Ming beside her and nodded. Let's do it. This is an important mission. Let's just kill them. Yes, sure. He could not be bothered with Hong Lian's opinion. After all, there was not a single person with superior aptitude in the Bright Sun Sect. All right. The two of them reached a consensus and locked their gazes on the 18 combat division disciples behind them. They ordered, "All of you know about the sect master's previous mission. This time, our mission is the sect below. I know that it's indeed a waste to use all of you to kill them. However, since we're here, we can't leave empty-handed." After Hong Lian finished speaking, a middle-aged man walked out from the group of 18 and bowed. His expression was full of respect and there was no hint of impatience. Don't worry. Since the sect master has given you his full strength, as disciples of the Xuanzong sect, we will not disobey his orders. The middle-aged man's name was Lu Yu and he was the leader of this team. After he finished speaking, he turned to look at his brothers and said, "Brothers, since the elder has spoken, let's do it. Kill all the disciples of the Bright Sun Sect." "Yes, we will obey your orders." After the 18 of them bowed to Hong Lian and Hong Lian, they turned into streams of light and charged into the Bright Sun Sect. Not long after, tragic screams resounded throughout the entire Bright Sun Sect and could be heard from the sky. The two of them ignored this scene. Let's go and see if this sect has any resources. Who knows, it might give us an unexpected surprise. Yes, let's go. Looking at Hong Lian, Ming nodded and continued, "I sensed a place where the spiritual energy is very rich. If I'm not wrong, there are either nurturing treasures or sacred-level spiritual herbs. Let's go and take a look. These are what the sect lacks now. As long as we have sacred-level spiritual herbs, the disciples of the sect can break through to the saint realm. This way, the strength of the sect will increase by another level." The two of them looked at each other and nodded. Their figures instantly disappeared and when they reappeared, they were in a cave at the back of the Bright Sun Sect. When they appeared, they looked at the cave. The spiritual energy they sensed earlier was even more intense. "The treasure is of a high level." "It's definitely sacred level," Ming asserted. "I agree." They nodded and rushed into the cave. Ming naturally did not want to be left behind and rushed in as well. In the front mountain of the Bright Sun Sect, the sect leader Wang Lei was bathed in blood. He looked at Lu Yu with murderous eyes and shouted in a tone as if he was going to eat him alive. Why are you doing this to my sect? I don't think I've made any enemies with you. Why are you being so cruel and bloody? Don't you know that the sect behind the Bright Sun Sect is the Myriad Sword Villa?" He was gambling. He was also confused by the group in front of him. He did not remember offending such a terrifying existence. They were all ultimate gods, and he was the only one in the Bright Sun Sect who had just broken through to the early ultimate god realm. With such a disparity in strength, how could he possibly defeat them? The only thing he could do now was to gamble. In his opinion, as long as he mentioned the 10,000 Swords Villa, the people before him would definitely stop before going too far and not go too far. However, Wang Lei did not expect that Lu Yu did not care about the Myriad Sword Villa at all. Their mission was to destroy the entire Bright Sun Sect. Therefore, he was not interested in it at all. He raised his head and a cold murderous aura emerged. He grinned and looked at the people in front of him with bloodthirsty eyes. He waved his hand and said, "Kill, leave no one alive." "What you?" Wang Lei was shocked. He knew that he had guessed wrongly and the result was death. Don't kill me, I surrender. I surrender too. Don't kill me, I can be your dog, your slave, as long as you don't kill me. In an instant, the entire Bright Sun Sect was filled with pleas for mercy. However, what greeted them was only a cold sword. Chapter 1203. The arrival of Hong Lian and the others meant the destruction of the Glorious Sun Sect. There was no turning back. On this day, the Glorious Sun Sect was destroyed and completely disappeared from the history of the Holy World. In the cave at the back of the mountain, Hong Lian and Ming walked in. Gusts of cold wind and rich spiritual qi hit them in the face. The rich spiritual qi made their pores expand. It was a comfortable feeling as if they were soaking in spiritual liquid. "Sister Hong Lian, what's in here? Why is the saint's spiritual qi so rich?" Ming was shocked. Ever since she came to the holy world, the thing with the most saint spiritual chi was a first-grade saint-class spiritual herb. However, a first-rank saint-grade spirit herb was nothing compared to the spiritual energy that was gushing out from this place. She shook her head with a doubtful look on her face, indicating her attitude. Let's go in and have a look. Anyway, this thing belongs to our Xuanzong sect. As she spoke, she quickened her steps instead of stopping. Her speed was extremely fast and she disappeared on the spot. Ming followed behind her. Lin Rei didn't know that at this moment, Lin Rei was in the shop or enjoying his comfortable life as a boss. Lying on the armchair and drinking tea, he enjoyed the most comfortable life. During this period of time, there were many people in the shop. Now, only those who bought it from the auction were left. With them around, it was enough to run the shop. As for Hong Yun and the others, they were in the living area at the back, working hard on their cultivation. Ever since they got the pills for cultivation, the 20 of them didn't dare to pay any attention to it. They were immersed in their cultivation. According to Lin Rei's estimation, those who hadn't reached the hierarch realm would break through in a month at most. Lin Rei was very sure about this. After all, the pills used by Hong Yun and the others were refined by him. During this period of time, Lu Chengfeng didn't come even once. He didn't know if it was because he was afraid of the Shi clan or because of what Lin Rei said to him before, but he was really shocked. Lin Rei didn't care. After all, he could still choose the surrounding sections. Anyway, his goal was to make all the sects in the holy world worship him. He didn't mind subduing the sect from here on out. However, during this period of time, Lin Xian had been extremely quiet, no longer as talkative as before. This caused Lin Rei to be extremely worried. He understood that Lu Chengfeng was the main reason. That made Lin Rei very angry. He didn't understand what was so handsome about Lu Chengfeng that his little princess would fall for him. Sigh. He looked at the girl sitting at the side with her hands resting on her cheeks. Her gaze was fixed on the street outside the gate, as if she was anticipating something. Little brat, you are truly ruthless. Do you want to go in and take a look? Let's go. He didn't go in. He raised his hand and made an inviting gesture. Then, he took a sip of wine and slowly walked into the Spirit Smoke Pavilion. The moment he entered the Spirit Smoke Pavilion, Lin Rei's horizons were indeed opened. This was the first time he had come to such a place in more than 4,000 years. When he was in the mortal world, he had only seen such places on television. After entering, he looked at the people, things, and things around him like a curious child. This was the first time he had come to such a place. Seeing Lin Rei's curious look, Lin Lingxuan couldn't help but ask, "Young master, I don't know your name. Since the two of us have come here together, it seems that we are fated." Lin Rei. After reporting his name, Lin Rei walked towards the sound of the guqin. As for Lin Lingxuan, Lin Rei ignored him. As for fated people? Heh, are you kidding me? There are so many people here. Are they all your fated people? What a joke. Hey Lin. No, brother Lei, are you waiting for me? Seeing Lin Rei's departing figure, Lin Lingxuan instinctively wanted to call him brother Lin. However, when he remembered that they had the same surname, he immediately changed his words. He took a step forward and chased after him. Lin Rei didn't care about Lin Lingxuan's arrival. This was a public place. Since Lin Lingxuan wanted to follow him, he would follow him. Second floor, third floor. Lin Rei continued to listen to the music until he reached the third floor. He stopped in front of a room in the drifting snow pavilion. The sound of the guqin was coming from this room. However, what stunned Lin Rei was that Miss Yun wasn't the only person in this room. Kid, what are you looking at? Yeah. Our young master is waiting inside. If there's nothing else, get lost. Don't disturb our young master's mood. The two guards at the door scolded when they saw the stunned Lin Rei. Chapter 1204. What? Your young master? Without waiting for Lin Li to speak, a cry of surprise rang out from nearby. Lin Lingxuan's face was filled with anger as he stared at the two gatekeepers. When he thought of the words bye-bye, his anger flared up. You bastard! You haven't revealed your identity yet, but you dare to be so impudent in front of me? Do you want to die? With that thought, he patted Lin Rei's shoulder and patted his chest with his other hand, as if saying, Leave it to me. Lin Rei naturally stepped aside. Why not? He didn't want to fight today. Just like that, he retreated to the side and drank while watching what would happen next. After Lin Rei stepped aside, Lin Lengxuan walked over to the place where Lin Rei had just left. He faced the two guards with a gloomy expression and a cold voice. I am Lin Lengxuan. As he spoke, he took out a purple token from his bosom. The word Sky was written on it, and on the surface of the token, 9 dragons were carved. Each of them was vivid and lifelike, as if they were real dragons coiling around each other. Sky token? The two guards exclaimed. Looking at the token, then at the young man, their bodies couldn't help but tremble. Even if they were just guards, they had heard of the token in Lin Lengxuan's hand before. The Sky Dragon token was divided into 5 grades: red, black, gold, blue, and the highest grade, purple. Only the young master of the Sky Merchant Association and the family head of the association would have this kind of purple token. As for the blue token, only the direct descendants of the association would have it. The rest would be distributed to the people of the Holy World. Now, the young man before them had a purple token, the young man's current aura, and what they had heard before about the young master of the Sky Merchant Association coming to the Shenyuan imperial capital. Now that they thought of this, their bodies trembled even more violently. Their legs went soft, and they directly knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Lin Lengxuan. Young Master Lin, we were wrong. We are scoundrels. We shouldn't have spoken rudely to your friend. Please forgive us. As they spoke, they didn't forget to slap their own mouths. Pa pa pa. The sound was so loud that it almost covered the sound of the zither in the room. Looking at this scene, Lin Rei was stunned. However, he soon recovered from his shock and became interested in Lin Lengxuan's identity. Of course, it was only a little bit of interest. As for his true identity, Lin Rei did not want to know, nor did he need to know. Anyway, after today, they might not have the chance to meet again in the future. Chia. Just as the two guards were about to slap him, the door to the room opened, and a young man dressed in luxurious robes and reeking of alcohol walked out of the room. Upon seeing the actions of his servants, he was taken aback for a moment before raising his head to look at Lin Lengxuan. His face turned cold, and he didn't ask his subordinates what had happened. Instead, he directly drove up to Lin Lengxuan and pointed at his nose. Acting as if he was the boss, he scolded, "Who the F***ck are you? How dare you threaten my 2 subordinates? Do you know who I am?" "Don't know?" "Humph. I'm the young master of the Lon family in the capital." As he spoke of his identity, the man's face was filled with arrogance, as if his identity was very high and mighty. When the 2 subordinates heard their young master's words, they were stunned. Their hands stopped moving, and their bodies froze on the spot. They looked at their young master as if they were looking at a fool. They didn't expect their young master to be so stupid. With the other party's identity, not to mention the Lon family, even if you were the head of the Lon family, you would still be an ant in front of this young master. Thinking of this, the guard closest to the man tugged at his trousers and reminded him in a low voice. He was afraid that his young master would say something that would drag the entire Lon family down with him. "Young master, he is the young master of the Heavenly Dragon Merchant Association in the desolate region. Please stop talking." Boom. He was dumbfounded. Hearing his subordinate's words, his haughty attitude, as if he was the boss, vanished in an instant. Heavenly Dragon Merchant Associations. Young master? He looked at the guard with difficulty. When he saw the guard nodding in confirmation, the man rolled his eyes and fainted. After supporting his young master, he raised his head to look at Lin Lengxuan and weakly said, "Young Lord Lin, my young master spoke without thinking earlier. Please don't take offense. How about this? We'll leave now. We'll leave now." As he spoke, he looked as if he needed to leave. To them, leaving this place as soon as possible was better than anything else. "Ah yes, it's good to leave. Oh right. Go back and inform the head of the Lon family that I, Lin Lengxuan, will visit the Lon family soon." Plop. When the 2 guards heard this, they fell to the ground. They looked at their young master with ashen faces. Now, the 2 of them even had the thought of killing him. However, Lin Lengxuan ignored them. He turned to Lin Rei and said, "Let's go, Brother Lei. Let's go in and take a look." Lin Lengxuan did not refuse and walked in. The two of them closed the door after entering. What entered their eyes was a room with simple furnishings. It was not as fancy and colorful as Lin Rei had imagined. On the contrary, there was a sandalwood fragrance in the room. It was very comfortable and comfortable. At this moment, the sound of the zither had stopped. The moment the man opened the door, the sound of the zither stopped as well. Lin Rei raised his head and looked at the lady sitting in front of the zither. He was stunned and his heartbeat inexplicably accelerated. The face of an angel. Looking at that delicate, clean face, Lin Li's heart, which had always been as calm as water, began to stir. Seeing Lin Rei's dazed look, he could not help but tease, "Hee, brother Lei, how is it? Are you tempted?" Lin Rei was stunned by Lin Lengxuan's words. He did not say anything and cupped his hands towards the lady. Then, he found a place and sat down. After drinking a mouthful of wine, he looked at the lady and was about to speak. Ding! Side quest. Help Shi Yun redeem her freedom and let her join the sect. Quest reward. Breakthrough by 1 level, 3 million redemption points. What? Just as Lin Lengxuan was about to speak, he heard the system's notification. He was stunned and stood there with his mouth agape. Lin Lengxuan and Shi Yun, who was sitting in front of the zither, were stunned when they saw Lin Rei's stunned expression. They did not know that Lin Rei was puzzled. Usually, there would be a reason for the system to issue a quest. However, the current quest did not have the slightest clue. Redeem her freedom and let her join the sect? Was this a joke? Most importantly, the reward for this quest was too generous. It was too generous. The reward increased by 1 level. After the system broke through to the Saint Realm, it was very difficult for him to increase his cultivation by 1 level. Now, it only needed to redeem a woman and let her join the sect. This made him suspect that the system had other motives. Chapter 1205. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just a mission. Of course, this is just a side mission. If the host doesn't want to accept it, you can reject it. However, the opportunity to make a breakthrough will pass you by. My suggestion is to accept it. Then, accept the reward for increasing your cultivation. Furthermore, after saying that, the system didn't give Xiao Chen any face. Host, don't forget that you still owe the system a lot of exchange points. If you don't accept it, you tsk. Lin Rei remained silent and didn't say anything. He understood what the system meant. When he thought of the huge amount of money he was still carrying, he felt a sense of pressure. 1.5 years. There was still 1.5 years before the time for him to repay his debt and activate the profound ice heavenly force. This also meant that he didn't have much time left. He had to work harder to solve these problems perfectly. This also meant that he had to accept the mission before him. Even if he knew that the system was up to no good, he had to accept it. As he thought about it, a look of determination flashed across his face. He nodded and said, "All right. Since there is no way out, I can only accept it." Ding. Host has accepted the side mission. Time limit is 1 day. If host fails to complete it, his cultivation will fall to great perfection God realm. Lin Rei was speechless. He was dumbfounded. At this moment, Lin Rei felt that it was normal. This was the system's operation. It was constantly digging holes for him as the system. Lin Rei regained his senses and looked at Shi Yun. He smiled bitterly. Originally, he just wanted to listen to music. He didn't expect to accept such a mission. Lin Rei's expression was noticed by Lin Lengxuan. He didn't understand why, but he didn't think too much about it. When he saw that Lin Rei didn't reply, he turned to Shi Yun and cupped his hands. "I am Lin Lengxuan. I have heard Miss Shi Yun's zither music many times. Every time I hear it, my heart feels very peaceful. I wonder if Miss Shi Yun can play a song for the two of us?" Shi Yun nodded and said softly, "Thank you for your appreciation, young master. This servant is happy to do so." After saying that, she played the zither with both hands and started plucking the strings. A serene zither music entered the two's ears. TSK. This girl's zither music actually has the effect of calming the mind. His originally excited heart slowly calmed down after the sound of the zither. In the end, his heart was as still as water. Such a state was extremely rare for cultivators. Especially for someone like him who was surrounded by baleful aura and killing intent, it was even rarer for his heart to be as calm as still water. He did not open his mouth. His eyes were tightly closed as he quietly listened to the sound of the zither. His state of mind, which had not broken through for a long time, began to loosen a little. The more it was like this, the more he felt that the woman before him was extraordinary. She was only a god king, yet she was able to play such a divine tune. It was truly admirable. Time passed peacefully. Lin Rei didn't know how much time had passed when he suddenly heard a snoring sound. Suddenly, Zhang Xian's calm state of mind was broken. He frowned and turned his head to look. Looking at Lin Lengxuan, who had fallen into a deep sleep, Lin Rei was stunned on the spot, his face filled with helplessness. Damn, is this what you meant by "you've been looking forward to playing the zither for a long time"? Perhaps it was because the zither music sensed Lin Rei's helplessness. It gradually faded away and eventually stopped. Why did you stop talking? Lin Rei asked curiously as he looked at Shi Yun. Young master. This young master is sleeping soundly. There is no need to continue talking. I really can't bear to wake him up because of my zither music, Shi Yun said. Oh. Lin Rei was stunned. He said, why can't you bear it? It is already indecent for a lady to play the zither while the guest is sleeping. It is understandable even if you wake him up. Of course, Lin Rei was only saying that. After all, in a place like this, it was fine even if the guest was sleeping soundly. Shi Yun stood up and walked to the window. She looked outside and said indifferently, this young master is very tired. I can't bear to wake him up. It would be a good choice to let him sleep. As she spoke, she turned her head to look at Linley, then continued, but young master, I can tell from your aura that you aren't someone who comes to this sort of place. From your body, I can sense a solemn murderous aura. Looking at Shi Yun's serious expression, Lin Rei smiled. He was even more curious about the woman in front of him. It was quite interesting that such a woman could be reduced to such a state. He stood up and slowly walked over to Shi Yun. Looking at her, he thought about the mission given by the system and did not waste any more time. He asked, how much does it cost to redeem your freedom? Shi Yun was speechless. Looking at the person in front of her, Shi Yun was stunned. She bitterly smiled and returned to her seat. She took a sip of tea and bitterly smiled. Redeem my freedom? The Spirit Smoke Pavilion will not let me off. Most of the nobles and officials who come here come for me. Do you think the owner of this place will let you redeem my freedom? She gave a miserable smile and continued, in this place, I am just a money tree. Without me, the owner of this place will lose a lot of money. It is much better than being bought by someone else. Don't you think so? Her gaze was fixed on Lin Rei, as if she wanted to find some information from Lin Rei's expression. However, it was a pity that she could only see calmness in Lin Rei's expression. Other than that, there was only coldness. It was as if the person standing there was not a person, but a 10,000-year-old ice block. There was no emotion, only endless coldness. However, Lin Rei nodded in agreement to Shi Yun's words. As for her probing, how could Lin Rei not know? But, since it was a mission given by the system, and he accepted it, in order to not drop his cultivation level, his only choice was to redeem Shi Yun and bring her back to join his sect. Thinking about the mission given by the system, Lin Rei had a headache. He did not want to act in a high-profile manner in the imperial city. If he forcefully took her away, he would have to deal with the owner that Shi Yun mentioned. The system said, you're still not high-profile? You destroyed the Balance Tavern, and you're still not high-profile? Who are you trying to fool? Lin Rei did not know. At this moment, he only wanted to complete the mission. Moreover, after what happened just now, he realized that Shi Yun was not completely useless. At the very least, she could bring him to the heart of Still Water Realm. As he thought about it, he sat down in front of Shi Yun. Their eyes met, and his expression was very serious. He said, I just want to ask you one thing. Do you want to leave this place? If you want to leave, I can bring you away. Condition. Shi Yun said. As a smart person, she did not think that the person in front of her would make such a hasty decision because of her appearance. From the solemn and murderous aura emanating from Lin Rei's body, she could see his style of doing things. Heh, you're a smart person. Lin Rei did not hide anything and directly stated his condition. I'll help you redeem your freedom. You have to come with me. Of course, I'm not the kind of person who would take advantage of others. I only want you to stay by my side and be my servant girl. If these words were heard by the people who adored Shi Yun, they would probably all spit at Linley, drowning him in saliva. Shi Yun might be a girl in the spirit smoke pavilion, but of course, she was not that kind of girl. She only sold her skills and not her body. In the entire Shenyuan Imperial City, Shi Yun was the woman in the hearts of all the high-ranking officials, nobles, and even those rich playboys. Now, she was being treated as a servant girl by Lin Rei. How could they accept this? Of course, it was also fortunate that the crowd did not know. If they knew, it would be very difficult for Lin Rei to leave this place. However, on the other hand, when she heard Lin Rei's condition, Shi Yun was stunned. She immediately recovered and looked calm, but in her heart, she looked at the person in front of her a few more times. She knew how important she was in the hearts of the rich playboys in the Imperial City. However, in the eyes of the person in front of her, she was just a servant girl. She did not think that Lin Rei was joking. Judging from his serious expression, he was serious. To people like her, the word leave was synonymous with luxury. It was extremely difficult to leave this place, especially when the power behind the Spirit Smoke Pavilion was extremely powerful. In the past, there were nobles who had caused trouble in this place. In the end, their limbs were broken and they were thrown out. After that incident, the nobles' clans did not even say a word. Because of this, everyone had a new understanding of the Spirit Smoke Pavilion. Seeing that Shi Yun did not speak for a long time and had a trace of worry on her face, Lin Rei understood what she was thinking. Rest assured, as long as you tell me that you want to leave, this sovereign will definitely bring you away and let you live a different life. What do you think? She felt that even if she didn't say it, Linley's words would be an enormous temptation to them. Perhaps it was because she was touched by Lin Rei's sincere gaze that Shi Yun nodded and replied softly, I want to leave this place. Once those words were said, Shi Yun immediately shut her mouth. She subconsciously thought that she might have said something wrong and quickly changed her words. Very well. Since that's the case, then, pack up and let's leave. After saying that, he stood up and walked to the door. He leaned against the door frame and quietly waited for Shi Yun to leave. Can we really leave this place? Looking at Lin Rei who was standing at the door, Shi Yun muttered in her heart. Sigh, perhaps. She seemed to have thought it through. Looking at Lin Rei, she felt an indescribable sense of security. She suddenly stood up and hugged her zither. Then, she slowly walked to Lin Rei and said with a weak voice, I'm done packing. Can we really leave this place? She seemed to be somewhat worried. Finally, she asked for confirmation. Trust me. After saying that, Lin Rei pushed open the door and left. Shi Yun followed behind him. As for the sleeping Lin Lengxuan, Lin Rei did not pay any attention to him. He was not familiar with Lin Lengxuan in the first place. Besides, he had something important to do. As Xiao Chen walked down the stairs with Shi Yun, the passers-by were all puzzled. None of the people who came to the Spirit Smoke Pavilion to play had seen Shi Yun leave her room before. But now she had appeared. Not only had she appeared, but she was also accompanied by a man. This caused everyone's mood to instantly vanish. Everyone's gazes were focused on Linley and Li Chia, as if they wanted to see what the two of them were going to do. Young master, how about we go back? Shi Yun could not help asking as she felt flustered by the ferocious gazes around her. Xiao Chen did not say anything, nor did he care about the gazes around him. He went to the hall downstairs and looked around. Finally, his gaze landed on a man. On that man's waist hung a medallion with the word administrator. The word administrator on the medallion clearly indicated that he was a member of the Spirit Smoke Pavilion. Xiao Chen brought Shi Yun over to that man. Without any nonsense, he went straight to the point and stated his purpose. Speak. How much is the ransom for Shi Yun? Boom. Suddenly, the information was like a bolt from the blue, instantly filling everyone's mind. When they saw the administrator's face turn gloomy, his eyes were filled with killing intent. Who is this person? He's so fierce. He dares to disturb the Spirit Smoke Pavilion's administrator? Tisk. This person has guts. He dares to redeem Shi Yun. Does he not want to die? Sigh. Another one who doesn't care about his life. The sounds of discussion could be heard everywhere. Everyone looked at Linley with amusement on their faces. It was as if in their eyes, Lin Rei was a clown, and they were just onlookers. As for Linley, his gaze didn't waver. He stared at the executor, waiting for his response. At this moment, the hall became silent. It was as if everyone was waiting for the administrator's response. The administrator had a panoramic view of the surrounding gazes. He could not tolerate the sudden appearance of this person who wanted to redeem the most beautiful lady in the pavilion. As the saying went, cutting off one's wealth was tantamount to killing one's parents. If Lin Rei wanted to redeem Shi Yun, he would be cutting off his source of wealth. He looked at Lin Rei with murderous intent and said coldly, "Kid, I'll give you a chance to reorganize your words. Tell me, what do you want?" Lin Rei was speechless. In order to complete his mission, Lin Rei said again, "How much is she? Let her go." However, the administrator's face changed completely. Looking at the smiling faces of the crowd, the killing intent in his heart became stronger. In his eyes, the crowd's smiles were mocking him. It made him feel that his dignity was being challenged. This kind of provocation was intolerable. Boom! Releasing his cultivation base, he raised his hand and punched out with a left hook towards Linley's face. Humph! He locked his gaze on the incoming hand and grabbed it tightly. His tone was no longer as gentle as before. It was incomparably cold. He couldn't help but laugh as he released his killing intent. Behind him, Shi Yun could sense it, and her body couldn't help but tremble. Her face instantly turned ashen from the killing intent emanating from Linley's body. The administrator was shocked. He had used his full strength just now, but it was easily neutralized by the other party. He could not help but re-evaluate the strength of the person in front of him. In their line of work, they were the best at reading people's expressions. As the saying went, speak human language when you see a human, speak ghost when you see a ghost. This was his specialty. Young master, I can't make the decision about what you said just now. Miss Shi Yun is the leader of our Spirit Smoke Pavilion. Only my master can decide whether she stays or leaves. You see, your master? Looking at the manager, Linley narrowed his eyes, and a murderous aura swept past him. He said impatiently, "I don't care who your master is. However, I'll take her with me first. My name is Lin Rei. The Nine Heavens shop is my business. As for the rest, your master can decide for himself whether he wants money or his life. Oh right. After you've made your decision, come to the Nine Heavens shop and find me." After saying that, he did not give the administrator a chance to speak. He released his aura and covered the entire Spirit Smoke Pavilion. Then, he disappeared from the Spirit Smoke Pavilion with Shi Yun. Chapter 1206. Lin Rei's departure did not bring everyone back to their senses. The pressure just now was too strong. Those with weak cultivations could not even resist Lin Rei's pressure and directly fainted. As for the deacon, his face was ashen as he looked at the door. His heart was ice cold. Thinking back to the time when he had become the deacon, he had knelt before the master and made every effort to guarantee that he would manage the Spirit Smoke Pavilion well. But now, he had not taken good care of it, and now he had even lost the Spirit Smoke Pavilion's most profitable source of income. There was only one outcome for this: death. However, the manager would never forget Linley's parting words. Nine Heavens shop. Only by doing so would they be able to survive. The Spirit Smoke Pavilion was not like the Balance Tavern, where there were Saint Realm cultivators guarding it. It was not that there were none, but that there was no need. In the entire Shenyuan imperial capital, no one would come here to cause trouble. Who would have thought that there would be such a fearless existence like Lin Rei? This matter quickly spread throughout the Shenyuan imperial capital. Everyone knew the main character of this matter very well. It was the owner of the Nine Heavens shop, Lin Rei. It was him again. Previously, the Balance Tavern was him. Now, the top courtesan of the Spirit Smoke Pavilion was forcefully taken away by him. It had to be said that the imperial capital, which was originally as calm as water, was completely stirred up after his arrival. I have to hurry up and tell my master. I hope he can atone for his crimes. His face was ashen. He quickly recovered and hurried outside. As for the Spirit Smoke Pavilion, He did not have the heart to care about it. Whether he could keep his life was a problem. All these had become mere worldly possessions. The street far away from the Spirit Smoke Pavilion was bustling with traffic. Not everyone knew Shi Yun. After all, there were people who would not go to a place like the Spirit Smoke Pavilion. After leaving with Shi Yun, Lin Rei walked slowly on the street with Shi Yun. No one spoke. Shi Yun hugged her zither and followed behind him. She was curiously sizing up the young man in front of her. She was very curious about what it was that gave this young man the guts to actually dare to provoke the Almighty. Lin Rei, who was supposed to be in front, didn't care about Shi Yun at all. He didn't care about what she was thinking. At this moment, Lin Rei's gaze was locked onto a restaurant. You must be hungry. Shi Yun, let's go and eat. Before Shi Yun could finish speaking, the word, had just left her mouth when Lin Li rebutted her back. Looking at Lin Rei, Shi Yun blushed with shame. She smiled bitterly in her heart. Since she had already made her decision, what was the point of asking? He didn't say anything. Instead, he followed Lin Rei into the restaurant. This restaurant wasn't like the Balanced Scale Tavern. There was no hierarchy here. All you had to do was pay. The two of them went to a table by the window and sat down. After ordering some specialties, the waiter left. The two of them faced each other and looked at each other. Perhaps it was because she had been rescued by Lin Rei today, but when she saw him looking at her like this, Shi Yun's heart started to beat faster and her face flushed red. Coupled with her beautiful face, she looked especially charming at this moment. Her face was like a ripe apple. One couldn't help but have the urge to take a bite and taste it. Unknowingly, another bottle of wine appeared in Lin Rei's hand. He took a sip and said calmly, "Join my sect and no one will be able to bully you in the future." Sect? Shi Yun was taken aback. She looked at Lin Rei doubtfully. She didn't expect this young man to belong to a sect. Judging from his tone, it seemed like he had a lot of authority in the sect. That's right, Lin Rei said. Of course, the main reason was to complete the mission. After all, it was too difficult to break through a small stage after entering the Saint Realm. Even if one had enough holy spiritual energy, it was impossible to break through in a short period of time. To him, time was running out. One day after the next, he didn't have much time left. If he wanted to break through in the time set by the system, lead his sect to become eternal in the holy world, and be worshipped by all sects and races, he could only rely on the system. 9 Heavens Xuanzong Sect, this Lord's sect. Currently there are 40,000 disciples. Perhaps in the holy world, a sect with 40,000 disciples might not even be comparable to a third-rate sect. However, this Lord's sect's disciples are very strong. The weakest in the sect is at the Divine Monarch realm. There aren't many disciples at this level. Among the 20,000 Divine Monarch realm disciples, the rest are basically reverends. There are 12 Tao Fruit Saints at the Great Perfection realm, excluding this Lord. This Lord is an early-stage Tao Fruit Saint. This information truly stunned Shi Yun, who was seated across from him. Her mind was completely blank, and she stared at Lin Li in a daze, as though she had been struck dumb. There weren't many sects with such strength in the holy world. However, to have 40,000 disciples at such a level, even the holy world's sacred grounds couldn't compare. Especially the 12 Tao Fruit Saints at the Great Perfection realm. She dared to guarantee that there wasn't even one such existence in a second-rate sect. How about it? Do you agree? Looking at the dazed Shi Yun, Lin Rei asked. The reason why he told her about the sect's situation wasn't because he trusted her. Instead, it was because he had the ability to control her. Most importantly, it was because he had the courage to break through. Why do you want me to join the sect? I'm not strong enough. Don't tell me it's because of my looks? Shi Yun didn't agree directly. Instead, she asked him a question. Indeed, although her looks were enough to topple countries and cities, there weren't many in the holy world. She really couldn't figure out what it was about her that made him want to pull her into the sect even if he had to offend someone. Hearing Shi Yun's question, Lin Rei looked straight at her and said, "This Lord needs you." System. Shameless. How can you say something like that? You've completely disgraced the system. Lin Rei. The system's sudden response caught Lin Rei a little off guard. After knowing the system for so many years, this was the first time he heard it speak like that. What made him break down even more was that the first time the system said that, it even teased him. A blow, a real blow. Damn it, why don't you just stop talking? If you want to talk, just say something nice. What is the meaning of this? System. Boring. F***CK, system, listen to my thoughts. Didn't I say that I'm not allowed to do this? At the very least, you have to get my permission first. You're not following the rules. Do you understand? As if he had forgotten about Shi-yun, his mind began to argue with the system. Tisk, that's an agreement between you and the little dragon, not with me. What a joke. The system said. As the saying went, don't stop until you're shocked to death. The system was such an existence. With a single sentence, Lin Rei immediately lost his temper. Fine, you're awesome, you're amazing, you know how to talk, you. I'll stop talking. Since he couldn't win against the system, he had to leave. After exiting the communication channel with the system, his mind returned to normal. Lin Rei was very curious about the system's sudden reaction. He was very curious about what kind of stimulation the system had suffered for it to act like this. What Lin Li didn't notice, however, was that the words "your exalted one needs you" caused Shi-yun's face to turn red, like a piece of hot metal. Her heartbeat became even more intense, as if it would jump out of her body if she couldn't control it. At this moment, she had an answer in her heart. Young Master Lin, I agree to join your sect, the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect. Amen? Are you sure? Lin Rei couldn't help but confirm with Shi-yun's sudden words. He didn't want to force her. I'm serious, very serious. Good. Since that's the case, you're a disciple of my Xuanzong sect. From now on, when I reveal my identity, you can call me boss or young master. After I reveal my identity, you can call me sect master. Understood. Shi-yun's expression was full of expectation as she looked at Lin Rei. Then, she nodded vigorously. This disciple understands. Boss. It had to be said that Shi-yun's ability to adapt was very strong. Just like that, she changed her identity to a disciple. However, what Lin Rei cared about the most right now was the sound of the system notification and the reward for completing the mission. After waiting for a long time, Lin Rei didn't receive anything. There was no system notification, and there wasn't even an increase in his cultivation. There was only a crow that flew over his head. The awkward atmosphere made Lin Rei feel a little unnatural. At the same time, he was puzzled by the absence of the mission completion notification. System, didn't I complete the mission? Why isn't there a mission completion notification? Where are my exchange points? Where's my cultivation that increased by 1 level? Why isn't there anything now? Are you playing with me? Indeed, he was very puzzled. The thing that he had been waiting for a long time didn't appear. This caused a small wave to rise in his calm heart. He was very unhappy. You brat. Sensing Lin Rei's displeasure, the system rolled its eyes and said unhappily, What mission did the system give you? It's for you to redeem Shi-yun so that she can join the sect. And now? Yes, Shi-yun joined the sect. However, did you really redeem her freedom? He wanted to refute, but as soon as he opened his mouth, it was as if a fishbone was stuck in his throat. That's right. He had only snatched her away and did not redeem her. After thinking it through, a sense of unwillingness welled up in his heart. He had originally thought that it would be a very simple matter, but now it had become so troublesome. If he had known earlier, he would have waited in the spirit smoke pavilion and become the master that the attendant had mentioned. Now that he was out, if he wanted to complete the mission and make a breakthrough in his cultivation, he would either have to return to the spirit smoke pavilion now, or wait for that so-called master to come looking for him. In the future, when you're doing missions, review the questions first. Don't vent your anger on the system so easily. It'll be heartbroken too. Sick. This guy is definitely sick. Lin Rei said to the system in such a manner, and immediately determined the result. His tone was like that of a little dragon. 1 word. Cheap. 2 words. Very cheap. 3 words. Extremely cheap. He was so cheap that he had no friends. He stopped talking to the system. After exiting, he stared blankly out the window, feeling an inexplicable sense of loss in his heart. There was nothing he could do. He had been looking forward to a breakthrough for a long time, and now he had thought that he had it. However, it was clearly right in front of him, but he could not grasp it no matter how hard he tried. This feeling made him feel like he was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. He could not wait to rush over and complete the redeeming process. The food was quickly served. Lin Rei simply ate 2 mouthfuls. At his level, he did not need to eat at all. For him, this was just to fill his stomach. Shi Yun was different. She ate very seriously, and her eating was very admirable. She chewed slowly and swallowed carefully. The meal was very simple. He finished it quickly, paid the bill, and left. On the other side, in King Cheong's palace, in King Cheong's study, the attendant was trembling as he knelt before a middle-aged man. His face was full of palm prints. Those who did not know better would think that he was a human-shaped pig. Master, it is not that I do not want to stop him. It is just that the other party is too strong. Just by releasing his might, he was able to immobilize everyone in the spirit smoke pavilion. This little one wants to help, but is powerless. However, before he left, he said that if you want the money to redeem yourself, you can go to the 9 Heavens shop to look for him. The middle-aged man before Xiao Chen was the master that the attendant spoke of. He was also the Azure Mystic Imperial Dynasty's external Wang, Yi Qiong. As a sage, he was a very important person in the Azure Mystic Imperial Dynasty. He had a large number of troops, and even the emperor had to give him some face. As for the Spirit Smoke Pavilion, it just so happened that it was one of his most important businesses. 9 Heavens shop? Yi Qiong turned around and looked at the attendant with killing intent in his eyes. The anger from before was gone. Why would the owner of the 9 Heavens shop return to the Spirit Smoke Pavilion? Furthermore, he happened to be interested in Shi Yun. Yi Qiong had heard of Lin Rei's deeds. Of course, he had also seen them before. He had also gone to the Balancing Scale Tavern. He had also seen Lin Rei's means. As for Lin Rei, Yi Qiong only had one word for him: unfathomable. If they were to fight, Yi Qiong would definitely not be able to win. Merely to his surprise, Yi Qiong had told him not to provoke Yi Qiong not long ago. But now, Yi Qiong had actually delivered himself to him. Master, how about we directly dispatch our troops to kill him? That way we can, pow! Yi Qiong's figure was instantly sent flying. In the end, he crashed into the wall before coming to a stop. However, he had already fainted. One must know that a slap from a sage was not something that a mere divine cultivator like him could withstand. Bastard! That person is a fucking sage. Do you think this is child's play? Dispatch troops. Although Yi Qiong was furious, he did not lose his rationality. He knew very well what sort of existence Yi Qiong was. He would not go and find trouble with Yi Qiong for a woman. However, since Yi Qiong wanted him to go, he might as well go. Perhaps he might even be able to befriend Yi Qiong. After all, if he could befriend someone like Yi Qiong, he would do his best to befriend him. No one would wish to encounter an enemy like Yi Qiong. As for women, they were nothing. In his eyes, he could have as many women as he wanted. As he thought about that, he took a glance at the unconscious attendant and walked over. As for Yi Qiong, someone would take care of him. In front of the 9 Heavens shop, Lin Rei and Shi Yun stood before the entrance. Seeing the people coming and going inside, a smile appeared on their faces. They were completely unaware of King Cheong's arrival. Of course, if they knew that King Cheong was the master behind the Spirit Smoke Pavilion, they might have personally come out to welcome him. Not for him, but for him to break through to the next realm. Chapter 1207. Upon entering, he saw his old partner, Lin Xian, sitting near the entrance. Her gaze locked onto Lin Rei and the young lady behind him. Initially, when she saw her father's arrival, there was a trace of excitement on her face. However, when she saw the young lady behind him, the excitement on her face vanished. What replaced it was only coldness and bewilderment. Didn't he just go out for a round? Why did he bring back a woman? Lin Xian, couldn't help but grumble when she saw the young lady hugging the zither. Lin Feng, quickly take the zither from Shi Yun's hands and arrange a room for her to store the items. In the future, Miss Shi Yun will be one of the employees of this shop. Oh right, the 2 helpers who served me earlier can leave now. In the future, You two can just focus on managing the business of the shop. From today onwards, Shi Yun will be my personal maid. Lin Xian gave out orders one after another. She didn't notice that Lin Xian countenance was getting colder and colder. Her heart was filled with enmity towards this young lady who suddenly appeared. Not only for herself, but also for her mother and Aunt Bing who were guarding the sect. She stood up and walked towards Lin Rei in a huff. She glared at Shi Yun and spoke, "Father, you only went out for a short while and brought back a woman. If your subordinates know about this, I'm afraid." This. Seeing the unwilling expression on his daughter's face, Lin Rei started as he awkwardly scratched his head. "Hello, miss. This servant is called Shi Yun. In the future, I will be boss's maid. Please take care of me." Shi Yun suddenly spoke. She understood Lin Xian's meaning. However, she didn't expect that the man who redeemed her would have such a grown-up daughter. For some unknown reason, she felt a little disappointed in her heart. Naturally, she didn't ask for anything. Now that she was out of danger, it was already a blessing from the heavens. Shi Yun. Staring at Shi Yun, Lin Xian's eyes were filled with hostility. Although she said that she didn't mind her father looking for Lil Miss, in reality, she was extremely conflicted about this matter. "I don't care how you came here. You have to remember that in this family, my mother is the most important." After speaking, she glared at Lin Rei before turning and running towards the backyard. Lin Rei blushed with shame at his daughter's warning. When had he ever felt like he was caught in the act of adultery? "TSK, serves you right for being a little woman outside. Your daughter's words are all light." The system suddenly teased. "Red Lotus is one." Unfortunately, shut up. Lin Rei still hadn't figured out what was going on with the system's sudden change. However, the current system was very despicable. Very despicable. It was so despicable that Lin Rei had the urge to drag it out of his mind and rub it against the ground. The system continued. "Come and take a look. This guy wants to shut everyone's mouths. Is there any justice in this world? Is there any law? I don't think so." Looking at the system, he really didn't want to argue with it. There was no need. The system said, "That's because you can't win, okay? You act like you're so awesome. You only know how to brag every day." Of course, if Lin Rei found out about the system's thoughts, he would probably go berserk. Sigh. Looking at his daughter's departing figure, Lin Rei sighed and didn't think too much about it. He would slowly get used to it. Thinking about it, he sat down. Shi Yun was very self-aware and naturally entered the role of a personal maid. She came to Lin Rei's side, picked up the teapot on the table, and poured some tea for Lin Rei. Then, she went behind Lin Rei, raised her hands, and started massaging Lin Rei's shoulders. At this moment, Lin Rei could be said to be the perfect image of an old man. He was lying on a chair with a tray in his hand, and a beautiful woman was waiting on him behind. This kind of life was very comfortable, and it was very picturesque. Those who knew would be very envious of Lin Rei's life. Those who didn't know would think that the two of them were a family. On the other hand, Lin Rei didn't know that on a street not far away, Yi Qiong was walking alone on the street, leisurely looking at everything around him. He was currently walking in the direction of Lin Rei's Nine Heavens shop. Since he decided to be on good terms with Lin Rei, he had set off. Firstly, he wanted to meet Lin Rei, and secondly, he wanted to see if the Nine Heavens shop was like what everyone said, with countless treasures, and the prices would only be high. Of course, he wouldn't stop Shi Yun from leaving. If he could lose a woman and become friends with a powerhouse, why not? In another place, in the Spirit Smoke Pavilion, in Shi Yun's room, Lin Lengxuan, who was sound asleep, woke up with a start. When he looked up, Lin Rei and Shi Yun were long gone. At this moment, Lin Lengxuan was dumbfounded. F***CK. Where's my brother Lei? Where's my Miss Shi Yun? Why is there no one when I woke up? Filled with doubts, Lin Lengxuan got up and went outside. Then, he found someone and voiced his doubts. After learning that he had fallen asleep, Lin Lengxuan only felt admiration and worship for Lin Rei. Damn. He's too freaking awesome. He barged into the Spirit Smoke Pavilion alone and brought Miss Shi Yun along. He didn't even let me go with him. As Lin Lengxuan thought about it, he shook his head regretfully. It was as if missing out on this matter was like missing out on several 100 million. This won't do. I have to find Brother Lei and ask him clearly. Otherwise, I would have come here for nothing. After saying that, Lin Longxuan tidied his robes and walked out. Lin Longxuan was very clear about Lin Rei's identity. He had known about it before coming here. Lin Longxuan walked out and headed for the Nine Heavens shop where Lin Rei was. Yi Qiong stood in front of the Nine Heavens shop. When he looked up at the bold and powerful signboard, he was shocked. I didn't expect Lin Rei's comprehension of laws to be so powerful. Yi Qiong was shocked beyond words when he sensed the slaughter law from the signboard. One had to know that the hardest law to comprehend was the slaughter law. It was also the law that all sages did not want to comprehend. This law was powerful. However, even though it was powerful, if one tried to comprehend this law, they would end up dead. Even if the outcome was good and they did not die, they would end up with cultivation deviation because they comprehended the slaughter law. In the end, they would become a killing tool that only knew how to kill. As for Lin Li's Tao of slaughter, it caused Yi Qiong to see a completely different picture. Of the laws that Lin Li had comprehended, these laws were powerful, but they were reserved, revealing their sharpness, but also allowing them to advance and retreat. This was the first time Yi Qiong had seen this kind of slaughter law. However, she knew that she was not a match for it. Not bad. It seems that my previous thoughts were correct. If I make an enemy of this person, I will only end up dead. Well, it's better to make friends with him. Yi Qiong shook his head and threw all the messy thoughts in his mind to the back of his mind. He stepped into the shop. Lin Rei, who was originally enjoying this kind of time, suddenly locked his eyes on Yi Qiong, who had just entered the shop. Lin Rei felt an inexplicable fear from him. Of course, it was only a trace. As if their hearts were connected, Lin Rei saw Yi Qiong. Similarly, Yi Qiong also saw Lin Rei. The two of them looked at each other and sparks flew. Is this Lin Rei? Yi Qiong thought to himself as he looked at Lin Rei. System. Check this person's personal information. Lin Rei could not help but speak. Ding, okay. Checking. Please wait a moment. Host. The system responded and began to check. He recognized the system's ability very much. Sure enough, after a while, the system notification sounded and an information interface appeared in front of him. Name, Yi Qiong Cultivation, Dao Fruit Sage Position, Prince with a different surname, Qing Xian Empire, Personality, cautious, scheming, and very shrewd. Host. Please be careful and don't be fooled. Lin Rei. At first, it was fine. But that last line of, I'm a fool, made Lin Li feel as though he was being discriminated against, as though he were an idiot. The system said, the host is not an idiot, but there isn't much difference between you and an idiot. Therefore, please keep the system's prompts in mind. Lin Rei finally confirmed that the system had really changed. It was no longer as silent and cold as before. He was so naughty that Lin Rei had the urge to beat him up at any moment. He didn't get up and return to his previous appearance, lying on the chair. However, he was somewhat interested in this Wang with a different surname. However, what made him even more curious was why this Wang with a different surname would suddenly come here. However, right when Lin Rei was deep in thought, Yi Qiong arrived not too far away from Lin Rei, and he cupped his fists and said, I'm Yi Qiong. I presume you're the owner of the Nine Heavens shop, right? Lin Rei suddenly got up and looked at Yi Qiong. Now, he knew that this guy seemed to have come for him. He got up and tidied up his slightly messy clothes. He cupped his fists and said, I am indeed. May I know? Yi. He didn't know what to call Yi Qiong. Should he call him Lord Yi or Yi Qiong's real name? Yi Qiong seemed to understand Lin Rei's dilemma. He nodded and smiled. Boss Lin, just call me by my name. Or, you can call me Brother Yi. Okay, Brother Yi. Lin Rei didn't refuse. Yi Qiong didn't care, so why should he care? Moreover, his status wasn't lower than Yi Qiong's. System. Shameless. Get lost. The system's sudden words made Lin Rei feel like he was going to explode, but fortunately, he controlled himself. He locked his gaze on Yi Qiong and smiled. Brother Yi, you're a guest. Sit down and have a cup of tea. Shi Yun understood tacitly and poured a cup of tea for Yi Qiong. Then, she respectfully stood behind Lin Rei. However, her gaze was fixed on Yi Qiong. She knew that the person in front of her was her boss in name, her master. Of course, that was when she was in the Spirit Smoke Pavilion. Now, she only had one boss, and that was Lin Rei. Brother Yi, what brings you here? Yi Qiong went straight to the point. He didn't like to drag things out and talk a lot of nonsense. Yi Qiong put down the teacup and looked at Shi Yun. He smiled and said, Shi Yun, you left my Spirit Smoke Pavilion and didn't even greet me. I heard from the attendant that Boss Lin had taken a fancy to Shi Yun, so I came down. Now, Lin Rei understood why Yi Qiong was here. He came because he brought Shi Yun back. However, what surprised Jean Mei was that the person behind the Spirit Smoke Pavilion was someone with a different surname. Shi Yun didn't say anything, but Lin Rei moved. He waved his hand and a storage ring appeared in front of Yi Qiong. Brother Yi, I was wrong before. Here are 1 million high-grade Saint Realm crystals. See if it's enough to redeem this girl. 1 million high-grade Saint Realm crystals. Not to mention redeeming a person, it was enough to buy the entire Spirit Smoke Pavilion. Yi Qiong was rather surprised at how extravagant Lin Li was. He was able to take out 1 million high-grade saint crystals as well, but he couldn't bring himself to use it to redeem a woman. However, the person in front of him didn't even blink. He gave it to him so easily. Yi Qiong couldn't help but re-evaluate Lin Rei. Is it not enough? Yi Qiong didn't say anything. Lin Rei thought it wasn't enough. He waved his hand and another storage ring appeared. There were also 1 million high-grade Saint Realm crystals. 2 million. I'm determined to get Shi Yun. I hope Brother Yi can part with it. Yi Qiong was speechless. Looking at the 2 storage rings in front of him, Yi Qiong was dumbfounded. 2 million high-grade Saint Realm crystals. These were high-grade Saint Realm crystals, not low-grade Saint Realm crystals. After being smashed by Lin Li like this, Yi Qiong came back to her senses. She looked at Lin Li with a different look in her eyes, then said, Brother Lin, you misunderstand. Just now, I just didn't expect that Brother Lin would spend so much money to buy Shi Yun's freedom. But it's good. Shi Yun is lucky to have met someone like you. To be honest, only Lin Rei would be willing to pay such a price. So you're saying that Brother Yi agrees? Lin Li was very excited. Of course, on the surface, he was still as cold and emotionless as before. I agree. But I can't accept these 2 million. Take it as a gift for our first meeting. A piece of paper appeared on the table. Looking down, Lin Rei was even more excited when he saw the words selling contract. In Lin Rei's eyes, this wasn't a selling contract. It was a chance to raise his cultivation and reduce his debt. However, he still had to pay. After all, if he didn't pay, it would only be a gun. Even if someone gave it to him, it wouldn't count as a redemption. As he thought about this, just in case, Lin Li pushed the 2 storage rings towards Yi Qiong, his face solemn. I said I'd redeem myself, so I'd redeem myself. After speaking, he reached out and took the indenture agreement into his hands. Inexplicably, his hands trembled as a voice rang out in his mind. Ding! Side mission. Help Shi Yun redeem herself and let her join the sect. Completed. Mission reward. Breakthrough by 1 level. 3 million exchange points will be stored in the storage ring. Host. Please check regularly. F***CK. This is great. Thinking that he could break through his cultivation soon, he was excited. As for the 3 million exchange points, it was just a drop in the bucket for his debt. Now that the mission was completed, he was in a good mood. The corner of his mouth curled up and a smile flashed across his face. Shi Yun, here you go. Coming back to his senses, he handed the contract over. Now that Shi Yun had joined the sect, it didn't matter if she had it or not. Yes, boss. Thank you, boss. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.